Appreciate it. Well, now that audio has joined us and the whole crew is here, we were beginning to worry that you'd gotten eaten by your own dinner.
No. Had to go get it, and it took a while.
Fair enough. So, sorry for the immediate discombobulation that's going to do to anyone watching, but when last we left our heroes of the cleanup crew, Ackmite and Teltix had been reunited with Draven, and they had spent a majority of the day exploring around the city, taking care of their own odds and ends. Draven had found himself a beautiful ring before... Oh, and Teltix had been stalked by a duck. Before...
Correction, I was stalking that duck.
Before making their way to the individual... No, we did that. Yeah. Before making their way to their to the Wizards Guild, the Rogues Guild, and the Paladins Guild, where Teltix, during her trip to the Rogues Guild, got a nasty little surprise. Really gooey and dark. And they signed their papers to make them full-fledged adventurers under the eyes of the Empire, because the Empire is really stringent about control. And everybody met back up with Draven at the Wizards Guild, speaking with the wizard Marcus, who was able to give them some guidance on a job that he had available for them through the guilds. And to the forest just northeast of Condolia, where a young woman named Nicole had apparently put in a request for some strange noises and bothered animals in the area. Leaving there, the group met up at a little camouflage-colored camping supplier, acquiring some very strange jerky and little bags of white, sweet, fluffy things the shopkeeper called marshmallows, before heading out to the city, and that's where we meet them now, having just left the camping supply store.
Boy, I tell you what, I'm glad we were able to get these nice fluffy marshmallows. Those are nice. So I think we got everything set. I guess we're ready to go to this forest. Any idea, Ackmite, do you know who this Nicole is?
No, I would not.
Yeah, no. This is forest dweller. She doesn't come into town often enough for you to know who she is.
Oh. Well, I guess we just need to find this Nicole, figure it out what her deal is.
I agree. I say casually munching on a marshmallow.
As you look around outside, the sun's starting to go down a little bit. It's, I'd say, about 5 o'clock, if I had to give it an actual time. The crowds are starting to thin. People are going home. You can see there's a couple people already kind of drunk. You can see kind of getting hoarded out of the market district. You're not sure how they got alcohol in the market district, but they're now getting pushed out of it, either to their homes or out of the city entirely. Other than that, it's pretty quiet.
Can I do just a general perception check just to look around, see if I can see anything?
Of course, yeah, go for it.
Cool.
There's not, it's dark. Your dark vision helps, but there's just not much going on in the street. You can see the street's a little dirty. Probably needs a good scrubbing, but that wouldn't make much sense.
I know Jack might, you should probably get someone on this road. It's a little bit grungy.
We can tell a guard when we walk past. Say, get someone to sweep up around here. Usually.
Alright, cool.
Other than that, there's not much going on.
Pretty much towards the end. it's the end of the day. Everybody's going home. And would you say we're at the outskirts of town, like we're on the edge of town, about to head to the down to the road?
If you were to turn right and head straight, the gate is maybe like 3 buildings down from you. So yeah, you're pretty much on the outskirts.
All right. Well, we're going to proceed to the gate. And out to the road we go towards the forest.
As you head off out the gate, the 2 guards standing there, Larry and Jerry, they kind of both turn. See you later, Ackmite.
See you guys.
And you see Jerry from what looks like. Wait a minute. Wait, where are you going anyway? I know you don't have a schedule. You're not scheduled for duty this week. You haven't been scheduled for a while, actually. What's going on, man?
Signed up with the Paladins Guild. Gonna go out on a mission with these 2 here. In the woods. Some strange activity with the creatures and noises around there. Shouldn't take too long, hopefully. Be back in a
And he
couple of days or so.
he's like, you signed up to do some of that adventuring, eh? Did you get in for some sort of special leave so you could take time off to do that? Oh, you crazy fool.
I believe it was special orders from Kelky early, as I say, over Ackmite's shoulder. I think he was ordered to take leave. I guess he was just too much into his job. So I guess you guys better step up if you want some vacation time.
The guy looks like grouchy, like, I've been working at this post for 20 cycles. He's like a very old, grouchy elf.
Hey, look, it's your father's brother.
And he's just like, I ain't never got no special time off for nothing. He spits on the dirt. He's like, fucking favoritism in the guard, I swear. And he kind of now he's just angry. And he kind of huffs back to his post. Just,
Well, I got her in pretty quick. Ready to go?
Yep.
All right.
Let us depart.
Walk past the guards, say how do you do's, goodbyes, blah blah blah. La da 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 da.
It's a nice night out as you step outside the gates. Now that you've not got the walls and the buildings and all that, and you can see around, the night's clear, the stars are out, the moon is full. Wait, the moon's full? That's not right. You'll have to check on that one later, though, because it's not the right time of year for the moon to be full. Time of cycle. Yeah, it's not the right part of the cycle for the moon to be full.
You're kind of cutting out there, JJ.
Am I?
Just a little bit, yeah.
As you step outside, you look around. The night sky is pretty clear. Let me know if I cut out. But you do notice briefly that the moon is full, which doesn't make sense because it's not the right part of the cycle for that to happen.
The moon is rather full this time of year, don't you think?
Yes, it is. I look around, doing a real quick another perception check. Because this does not feel right.
Mistress heard tales of them werewolves casting spells on the moon. Just rumors, really. I wonder if that's it. Oh well. We may have to make a note of
it. Celtics, you look around and you see off in the distance, you see the not Borg. Wow. My mind went blank. Hold on. Now I have to check my notes.
After I said anything, there was nothing.
I didn't hear what you said. It didn't come through.
Oh, damn it. Well, I pretty much just said that my mistress heard rumors of the werewolves having spells upon the moon to make it full. Might have to be something to do with that. Then again, it was just rumors, so it might be something I have to check out later.
Oh God, werewolves.
Fun. cannot find the name that I'm looking for creatures. Why?
Hmm.
Damn it! I am having a technical difficulty on my end because my
Another
notes-
word for werewolves would be lichens, if that's the term you're looking for.
It is not. Unfortunately, it is not. Let me monsters.
You can just make a note of it for later and we can come back to it.
Yeah, that's probably what I'll end up doing because I can't get my. It's not loading for some reason. It's kind of actually
That's fine,
bothering me.
Just bookmark it.
Yeah, I'm gonna bookmark that. But Celtics, you see off in the distance, you see like the creatures out here. There's a specific creature I was looking for, but the creatures out here that have been bred by the city for training and whatnot. Akmite knows what those are if you point them out to him. Again, I can't fucking find the name, so Akmite knowing is about the best I can give you right now.
Well, what do they look like?
Oh, they're kind of dog-ish. Dogs, large wolves. Starts with a B.
Wargs?
What? Yeah, wargs. Wargs. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem.
I can't believe I forgot wargs. They were the first thing I built in this city before I populated it.
Yeah. They're a major thing in The Witcher 3, so I recognized them the first time you mentioned them.
Fair enough. But yeah, though there's wargs off in the distance. Thank you. My
Yeah.
brain fart tonight. And Akmite, you know that the wargs out here were bred by the city as like to be really weak and easy to kill for people they're training to be adventurers and who are going through training because it's just a simple like, hey, if you can't kill these, you aren't ready, basically. Most of the time, people just die if they can't succeed in their quest to kill a couple of them. So, but it's like child's play, literal child's play for most people, and they're very well trained. They will stay back from a lot of individuals unless you're like aggressive towards them. But what you notice biggest though, Teltix, is off in the distance is there's some sort of what looks like an ethereal glow coming out of the woods. Not like the woods where you're going, but like a small patch of trees that's in the middle of this field. Not even enough to even like ping on a map. It's just like a handful of trees.
I lean to my companions and point to it. Hey, do you guys see that?
What are you looking at?
Yeah, once she points it out, you can all see it.
That's
Weird.
strange.
Think we should check it out?
How far away is it?
It's literally like it's in your path, just off to the left, maybe 2 steps, but it's like 100 foot out from the city gates. The guards are actually like now have come up beside you and like, huh?
It's very strange.
I'll attend to them, turn to the guards and say, get one of the higher ups, maybe someone tell Kelky about this strange occurrence, but
Oh, it's Kelky's it's Kelky's date night. I ain't bothering him.
anyone else, any of the other commanders, get them and tell them about this. I'm gonna go check it out with my compatriots while we head towards my objective. You guys just keep watch if anything comes out.
Yeah, sounds good. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Larry. Go get the night captain. I got the gates. And he kind of squaddles back up to the gates and he draws his blade now and is like in a defensive posture, and Larry kind of like scuffles off.
All right. I guess we're gonna head towards that thing. I mean, it's kind of along our path, so.
You start making your way out into the field. As you get closer, you start hearing voices, real quiet. You can't make out what they're saying though. It seems like there's something muffling them.
Oh, so we're close enough to hear something, like people.
After just like literally less than a minute of walking towards this, you start hearing muffled voices. Yeah.
I'm gonna kind of try to say, should we stealth through this, or like try to ease up on what these things might be, and then figure out the situation?
Are they speaking the same language as us, or a different language?
You can't
perhaps?
tell what the words are.
Mhm.
It's like there's something muting it, so you can hear the sound of the voice, but you can't hear the words of the voice.
Hmm.
I say we should just sneak up to it, figure out what's going on, maybe peer out, investigate the situation, and then go.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. If you guys want to sneak up on this, it'll be stealth.
Okay. And 17.
Okay.
And
Celtics and Ackmite, you're both just like da na 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 da da da.
Guys, I think we should be really quiet. It's imperative we stay quiet, okay?
You two get up to the trees and you're like pressed again in all like ninja style, and Draven walks up and snap. There's a twig under his foot, just cracks. It echoes through the stillness of the night, and the voices stop. And
I facepalm with a loud smack.
After the twig snaps, I look at the other two and shush them. Shh, shh. It's okay. Shh.
As Ackmite and Celtic, since you two are closer before this happens, give me another perception check, just for the two of you.
All right. 14.
All right.
10.
There's a bright flash of light. Whatever was the ethereal glow just suddenly glows really bright for a split second. Celtics, you're not able to see through it. Ackmite, however, you get your hand up to kind of cover your face, and you see what looks like two hags in the flash grabbing something off the ground, and then they just melt into the trees and disappear. And when the light fades, the little clearing inside these trees is empty.
Oh, that's not good.
No, it is not.
Well, you didn't see it, but there were two hags here doing some kind of ritual. Ackmite looks up at the moon.
It's back to that tiny little sliver it's supposed to be.
Well, bright side is whatever they were doing, we stopped them. Or
Yeah.
Draven stopped them by being very obvious.
Yes,
All
but
a part of the plan.
I would have liked to have at least tried to catch them, or at least get more information. It seems like they were doing some sort of ritual. Pick something up from the ground.
Ritual. You hear behind you, you see the guy's name is Dave. He's human, and his name is weird because human names are weird. And he walks up and he's just like, "Ritual? There was someone doing a ritual out here. What, you see? We saw the flash from the gates."
Yes.
This guy does count as your superior, by the way.
Yes, sir. As I was heading out with my two compatriots here, one of them spotted a bright light in this wooded area here, and we came upon it, and I was briefly able to spot what looked like a couple of hags performing something. My compatriot and I also noticed that the moon was surprisingly full, and it's not supposed to be this time of year.
Oh, yes.
Or this time of the cycle.
I saw that.
Yes. And I was trying to gather more information, but we sadly spooked them before I could get any sort of intel on what was going on. But for now, it's stopped. But something like this close to the gate, I don't know how I feel about that.
I have to get a couple men out here with one of the wizards to give it a once over.
Yes.
You three go about your business. I'll go back to the city and get some men to come out here. I appreciate your attempts to gather some intel, however. Well done on you, guardsmen. Well done. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your evening. And he gives you like a little salute.
Salute back.
And he cuts.
I tip my hat.
He just cuts his salute, turns around, and starts jogging. It's not a full run. He's kind of a bigger guy, so he can't quite run. So he's kind of this awkward jog, heading back into the city.
Draven is standing there, and he sees what's going on. No, I'm gonna go check, see what's going on. I'm gonna go look at where those hags are doing that ritual. So I can stay right here if you want. I'm gonna go look.
All right.
I mean, there's really no point in splitting the party, so I'll go with them.
I was going to go alongside him just to make sure. I'll go with you, and just in case they might come back.
Good, because there's a reason why I want to.
And I'll go with you to make sure you don't do anything stupid.
Well, I really want to investigate this because these hags obviously are doing a ritual here, and magic, any kind of magic, leaves traces. And if I can figure out what's going on, then this is something I need to look into. So I'm gonna go over here.
All right. You
Alrighty.
all walk into the clearing and roll me an Arcana check from, well, actually all of you, because all of you have some sort of magical sensory.
Why, yes, we do.
Draven's just really dumb.
12.
Wow, Teltix, 23. Teltix, as you walk in, Draven, Akmite don't seem to like feel anything. However, you get what feels like a tingle up your spine. Whatever was going on here, you can't pinpoint what it was, but it was a deep infernal in nature, as though like something to do with a devil lord. You can't tell which devil lord, but it's of that level of just infernal energy that you feel as you step in here.
I turn to my companions and say, guys, there's like what?
It sounded like you cut out there for a minute.
Hang on. I turn to my compatriots and say, guys, there's some infernal stuff going on here. I think they were working on some kind of devil magic. And I don't mean that in a country bumpkins sort of way. I mean literal devil magic.
Where are they conducting this ritual at? Where's the site? There has to be a fire, okay? Where's the fire at? Because there's got to be ingredients around here somewhere to figure out what's really going on.
It looks like everything was cleared. Like, even the grass here is gone. It's just bare dirt. Like, somebody was just like, nope, and just cut away the top layer of everything.
That's with the perception check?
Yeah, that's with all the checks. That's the best you can figure out is that, like, the energy's still there, but it looks like somebody was like, nope, and just literally cleaved off the entire upper, like, maybe inch of earth here, where the ceremony was going on. So you can tell where it was happening, and that's where you can feel the energy at, but you can't see what was going on anymore because it's just gone.
There's no physical traces of anything that was here.
Except for that hole.
Except for the hole.
Yeah. It's like whatever they did when that bright light happens just vanished everything. You can actually make a knowledge check, Draven, since you are the wizard here, to see if you can grasp what happened with that, though. Just intelligence.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on. I'm losing my bearings over here. Here we go.
You're good. Whoa.
Natural.
You know that after Teltix has informed you about it being some sort of devil-related magic, you know that some summoning magics used to summon the stronger devils and demons, if it's interrupted, tends to just wipe everything around it as some sort of like energy backlash. And that was most likely the flash of light you saw was the backlash from it, just erased everything. The fact that the hags lived to scamper off is actually surprising to you. They would have had to have some sort of protection from the backlash in order to survive that.
Huh. Teltix, this is making more sense than what we initially thought. That white light, me interrupting everything was actually, which I think a good thing, because after I interrupted it, everything just wiped clean. It backlashed on those hags. So, self 5. So, yeah, there's really nothing else to look at here. Whatever we did to stop it, they're done for now. So we'll let the guardsmen figure out that from there. All right, my curiosity was solved.
All right.
Y'all's call. What do
Yeah.
we do now? I'm good now, so we can continue on to the rest of the force to try to find this Nicole character.
Mhm.
If that is her real name.
All right.
It probably
Was it
is.
just like a patch of trees that we were in, and this clearing just happened to be in it? Like,
Yeah. You
Mm.
know that they, as a way to kind of like make things a little prettier around here, and kind of on the insistence of the Rogues Guild, because there was nowhere for them to train people in stealth out here, that some trees got put here, literally put here, in like different patches. There's no more than like 10 trees in a patch, and they're really spread out. So like even on like the finest of maps, they don't come in because they're just so small. But yeah, there's just like
well, where did the druids work? Well, they have a bigger on the inside workplace, no, guild hall. Bigger on the inside, and it's got sunlit. But
I
yeah.
believe in old society you use a device such of that nature. It starts with a T, but I can't remember the exact full nature of the name.
the nature of a name. It sounds like a band.
Yeah. All right.
Or a really shitty romance movie.
Mm-hmm. But
we I make my way back out of there, kind of keeping a lookout just in case the hags are still around. Probably not. Yeah.
Oh, trust me, they scampered off. They're scared shitless right now. They don't know what to do except probably plan another time to do it again.
Yeah. But
Rituals like that, it needs to be at a certain time, at a certain date, and I think we set them back for a good while, whatever they're doing.
as you step back out of the clearing, you see the wargs are kind of like more active now, whereas before you could see them there, but they were just kind of like chilling. Now they're all like actually roaming around. You can see a couple of them are like, there's a deer that one of them's chasing after. Looks more everything looks more natural now as you step out.
okay. I'm gonna. Are there any close by? Any of those wargs close by?
No, they're staying away for the most part. They know better than to purposely engage the groups that come out here because of how many of them just straight up get killed. And because that's sort
Okay.
of training. If you were to approach them, they would defend themselves, but they aren't coming towards you.
All right.
Make sure to act it really is kind of inhumane what you guys are doing.
Yeah. Well, would you rather have someone prove themselves on something that can be somewhat taken care of easily, or have a kid go out and fight a band of, goblins or something, some crazed thing that might not be easier to control?
Or,
It's
you
just-
know, you guys could just, like, test yourselves against a master of whatever it is you're trying.
Yeah,
You know, just like
that's
friendly sparring matches, you know?
yeah.
The penalty
Yeah.
for failing against these guys is death, and seeing as most of the time these guys die, it's kind of inhumane.
Well, I didn't kill the one I dealt with, but then again, I had a club and I just hit it in the right spots.
Mm.
I was able to just drag it back, tied up.
I say, you common folk worry about the strangest things.
Yeah.
Without turning around, I cast Prestidigitation and make it so that it says I was stupid on the front of his cloak.
You cut out there. What was that?
I cast Prestidigitation and make it so that it says I'm with of Draven's cloak.
It cuts out the same part every time. You make it say,
I make
I'm
it say
with
I'm
stupid.
with stupid on the front of his cloak.
okay.
And that it's pointing to you?
No, it's pointing up to your face.
That makes no sense. Go for it.
I mean, it's there. Prestidigitation's a cantrip.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
It doesn't have a
I
save.
win.
All right. And
It goes away pretty quick, but it happens for a second.
are
or two.
any of those guards making their way towards the spot, or
Uh,
is that guy still trudging along back to the?
by the time you come back out, he's just passing through the gates, and you see like there is now like as you look back towards the gate, it looks like they've doubled up on guards at the gate though, just for safety. And you know it's kind of like an emergency measure. Oh shit, something happened right by the city. Put extra guards on the gate.
Yeah, I turned to Teltix and Draven, and I just go. The people they'll send out will probably find the same stuff we did. Best we continue on for right now. I'd like to figure out what's going on in those woods, and maybe find that person who's been taking off body parts of humans.
Agreed. We didn't really have an actual direction to go, but I guess let's find a village, the nearest village in the forest, and go from there. See if anybody has heard from this Nicole person.
I will note that Marcus had said somewhere around here is where Nicole is. Somewhere in that.
Okay. So
Okay.
if we just follow the river to that point in the forest, we should find something.
All right.
Yep.
So we'll follow the river's course.
It's a quiet night as you make your trip. Do you guys have any conversation along the way? It's going to take you about 2-3 hours to get there, maybe longer. Oops, my bad.
So, we haven't really talked about it. I mean, Draven, you've told us about basically you being a homeschooled, homestuck child, for most of your life, but Akbite turns to Teltex and goes, "We don't know much about you. I mean, you don't have to tell us much, but where have you been? Are you from this continent, or?"
No, I am from. I forgot the name of the place. Elysium. There really isn't much to tell. I was born into a family. who took me in after the demon portal opening. I'm sure some of you have heard about that.
Be a history check for either one of them if they wanted to know.
All right. 18 for me.
It's like Draven knows all about that shit.
Oh yeah.
That was his intelligence check from earlier.
Oh,
Yeah, he
Right.
hasn't pushed history yet.
Investigation or history?
History.
Oh, sorry.
Because Teltis is telling you
20.
a story.
Modified 22.
Both of you know that on the continent of Strongguard, it was a little while back. There was a portal to the infernal realm that opened up, and is actually technically still open. Technically, that let a bunch of devils and demons out that waged war against Strongguard for a while.
well, yeah. Anyway, 9 months before that whole spiel happened, or 9 months after, rather, I was born, and then 4 or 5 years after that, my mother died, and I was an orphan. I was taken in by the local thieves guild there. They taught me most of my skills. And I went off, searching around for something to do, and I was taken in by a wizard, a kobold wizard, I think. Yeah. I am doing an awful job at telling this story.
It's all right.
Yeah, Ack might would have said that. It's all right. I mean,
He was really into those, detective novels, and I suppose I kind of got into it through him. And I kind of want to be a detective sometime later in life. He died, and I would like to honor his memory by opening a detective agency in his honor.
that's interesting. I mean, I guess it would be a little bit easier than going to something like that than putting in a request to the guilds and stuff like that, or colleges, because they'll actually have to meet with you, and
Yeah.
you could technically have it go around if you felt like it.
Exactly. It'd be like I don't know. Never mind.
If you want to be a detective so bad, I'd kind of work on your people skills. Just saying.
I'm trying, man. I am
I mean, going around just falling in love with any duck, I mean, that kind of sets a bad example, don't you think?
I've never read any of those detective stories, so I'm not sure how those work, but yeah, probably if you're going to be dealing with a lot of people, yeah, you're going to need to work on that.
They
But,
basically just, work on and solve mysteries,
Yeah. Did they stumble upon them, or did someone come knocking at their door?
The way detective agencies usually work is the client will come in and hire their service to come in and solve a case or a murder, usually in these books. But most of the time, the murders that the books revolve around are like really complex and really difficult to understand and fully grasp, which just goes to show the prowess of the detectives in question. It's really quite impressive.
As Teltix is finishing up telling you all about detective novels, you come across you're finally getting to about where the two rivers kind of split here. There's a bridge it's a very interesting bridge because it's got one path that leads over the river, one path, well, all the paths lead over the river, but it's kind of like a spider almost sitting there is the way it looks and is designed so that you go up one leg, travel down the quote-unquote body, and down another leg into really anywhere around that area.
Hey, look, I see the bridge. It's a neat-looking bridge. Bridges are nice. Aren't they nice? Bridges are cool.
Yes. It would have been nice if that last place we went to had a bridge going to it. But
Yes,
sadly,
fucking Clippers. I hate them.
Well, I was more along the lines of the person who messed up and blew up the bridge.
Oh, yeah, that. Ugh.
Yeah.
That's why I say I like bridges. Don't you like bridges? Bridges are friends.
Yes.
Just not
They are nice.
Just
Not the
not
people.
just not the people underneath the bridge. Those are horrible.
Ooh. Yeah.
Don't.
Fucking trolls.
As you get closer to the bridge, you hear the sound of like blurp. And
Oh no, trolls.
there's a guy fishing on the bridge.
Oh.
Looks like an elf of some sort, just fishing. He's got a little chair. He's kind of plopped back on, fishing over the rails.
Good afternoon, sir.
Shh! You'll scare away the fish.
Oh. Yes, sorry.
Catch anything good lately?
He reaches down and he has to move a couple things around. He pulls out of his little box that he has next to him, full of water. He pulls out a carp. I caught this, and then he pulls out a big salmon. He's like, I caught dinner too. He puts it back down. What are y'all doing out here this late?
We're heading toward.
We seek treasure, my good sir. Treasure and fame.
And
That's
Mike
his
just
story.
sits there and laughs at that.
He chuckles at you. Well, ain't too much treasure or fame be found on this river. Just fish, lots of fish. And he kind of gets excited because his pole's going down. He's like, oh, hold on a second. I'll be right back at the end. He starts struggling to reel in the fish. And and he's sitting there doing that, and he reels out a really pretty fish with golden sheen. It's a big fish. He's like, oh, crap, giant goldfish. That's rare. This fish is like 4 foot long.
I applaud.
He like, while holding the fish in the pole in separate hands, he gives you like a weird like bow, and he's like, this will make a nice trophy for the back of the house. And he unhooks it and puts it in the box with the other one. You can see it swims around in there. He's like, what's got you this way looking for fame and treasure, y'all?
Well, we figured we'd go this way. And this way we'll go. Maybe we'll find it. Maybe we won't. But you know what? It's out there. And we'll find it one of these. And, I mean, one man's fish is another man's treasure. And that salmon looked my treasury.
You trying to buy my salmon off me, boy?
It's a very nice salmon, my good sir.
It's a really big salmon. He's like, yeah, but that's dinner. Wife be upset if I sold her dinner off and wasn't able to catch no more.
Wouldn't want that.
I wouldn't want that either. Although I would not recommend eating the carp. They're all bone.
Oh, I know. I'll give that to my pupper.
Ooh, he definitely like that.
Yeah.
We are looking for a woman named. Do you know anyone by that name?
Nicole. Oh yeah, I know Nicole. She brings me
Yeah?
over. She brings me and the missus over some cabbage stew every now and then. She's got herself a cabbage farm out in the woods.
Would you be kind enough to give us directions?
Yeah, no problem. You just follow the river here. it comes to a point in the forest. It enters the forest, and the forest
Mhm.
kind of curves. See, and when the forest curves at a certain point, for just a brief second, the river's out of the forest again, in a nice little clearing, kind of like the
Mhm.
bay on the ocean, you know. And she lives right there in that little tiny clearing. She uses the river to irrigate her crops, and she's got her little hut and all that out there.
Well, thank you.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much. Well, the reason why we asked, okay, the fame and treasure thing wasn't true, obviously. But,
I figured as much.
Uh,
Yeah, adventurous, ain't you?
sent here by the guild, yes. Apparently, there's been
Something
some
like that.
disturbance. It's been some disturbances around here.
Ah, you two look like adventurers, but you look like one of the guards. Points over to Akamite. Did the city grow interested in what's going on out here finally?
No, I've just decided to take my own keen eye going out into the world. You know, got to build up skills somehow. Don't want to be sitting doing nothing in a post all day.
Got bored with it too, did ya? I used to be a guard. Ah,
Yeah.
never
Don't tell
happens.
me you took an arrow to the knee and you had to stop.
No, that's how you get the guard post. Is either you start at that post and get out of there, or you end up in it because you took an arrow to the knee.
Nah. I got out after my third kid was born, and it just wasn't enough gold coming in from guard work to feed a family that big, you know? So we moved out here, and I started selling fish.
I don't believe we caught your name, good sir. I am Teltix, and I extend a hand to shake.
My name is William, Sir William the Fourth. Well,
Pleasure to meet you,
Sir
Sir William.
The Sir is an honorary title. My great grandfather was a knight, you see, with the Empire.
Ah,
I myself
Very-
was never knighted, but the title's been passed down.
If you're of noble blood, why are you out here?
Pa drank all the gold away.
hmm.
We still have the title, but we ain't got the money.
I see. Terrible news. Terrible.
Father's right.
Hey, trying to be better for me, kids.
Yep.
That's
Well,
good.
Thank you very much for your time, sir. We'll let you get back to it.
Of course, thank you. And he gets back in his chair, casts out a fish. He's like, gotta get me a couple more fish tonight. Market tomorrow.
Good luck to you.
Kind of waves you. Thank you. Takes a drink out of his water skin and goes back to fishing position.
Yeah, I guess we walk across the bridge kind of because that's within our way and head towards that location he gave us in the woods.
As you leave the conversation, you get across the bridge and you start walking again. The moon's gotten further up in the sky, the little sliver of it that is there. Hold on a second, I need to... Sorry about that. Hope that wasn't too loud.
Yeah, it was fun.
Tried to cover the mic there, but anyway, it's gotten to be about 8 o'clock now. It's been several hours. It's getting kind of late. You can feel kind of getting tired. You're just not like worn out, but you kind of had an early day, especially Akamite and Teltix. You know, you had kind of an early day and you ran around a lot this morning. So it's starting to get a little late, but you're able to make it to the just the edge of the woods where the river and the woods first meet by about 10.
All right.
Well, it's best not to approach a new place in the middle of the night. What do y'all think to just make camp and try to meet everybody first thing in the morning?
Yeah.
That sounds like a good idea. Shall we take shift? Just watching guard?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll take first shift.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'll go ahead.
You guys set up camp. probably, I'm imagining you munch on some food and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's pretty quiet. The woods are. Go ahead and roll perception, Draven, if you're going to be on guard. The woods are oddly quiet. You can't you're at this close to the woods. You should be able to hear the chittering of nightlife in the woods, at least, especially in the woods. But you don't hear anything. You hear what sounds like an odd metallic grinding somewhere far off in the woods, a very odd noise, and every now and then you hear creaks and thuds off in the distance. You can't see anything.
Bringing back flashbacks.
You hear voices out there, and you hear voices as well, just the occasional, you don't hear the words, you just hear, the occasional shout, but you're too far away to make out the words.
Well, nothing's in sight, so I'll keep my observations to myself, make some notes, just stand watch, chew on some snacks that I have in my pocket.
Your shift passes without incident. Nothing besides the noises. So
I'll take second shift if that's all right with you guys.
Yep.
So you two swap off posts. I imagine at this point you're asleep, so he has to come and wake you up.
Yeah.
Draven probably goes into his little elven meditation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to use my bat Jerry to scout ahead the fort.
Okay. Go ahead and have Jerry roll perception.
Okay. Give me one moment, please.
If he doesn't have,
That would,
if he
yeah,
doesn't,
it doesn't
have,
have.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me pull up Jerry's character sheet. Jerry the Bat.
Yep.
Jerry the Bat. Perception. Now he has perception.
Okay.
There you go. Okay. He's not right now. He's tired for some reason, even though
He's not. Okay.
he's a
He's
magical
not.
being, and he's just he goes to fly around, but he's a bat to start with, so he doesn't really see very well. So he's trying to echolocate, and all you really get is the top of the trees. You just get this image in your head of the reflection, essentially the refraction of sound waves off the top of a tree is about all you get from him.
You see those trees? That's what you're getting, okay? Leave me alone.
Yeah, he comes back and just kind of lands and goes back to sleep on your arm, which is funny because he's a bat and it's dark, so he should be awake, but he's tired because.
I just scritch under his chin. Jerry, you're useless, but I love you because cute.
He nuzzles against your finger
Oh. I'm going to roll perception in his stead because apparently I'm better.
You just can't fly over the forest.
Okay.
You hear the same noises that Draven heard, the grinding metal, the occasional shouts, the creaks and the thuds. It seems to just be going on throughout the night. A squirrel runs out of the woods, though, and kind of chitters up to you. It's a really tiny squirrel. This looks like this squirrel is a full-grown adult because it's not attached to a mother squirrel, but it looks like a baby still.
I lean down and give it some of my rations, just very calmly and quietly. I'm assuming that there's some sort of green in the rations.
Yeah, there's salted nuts.
Perfect.
He just starts nibbling at it, nibbles at it. He's just looking at you. Roll me animal handling real quick. With advantage because you just fed him.
Okay. Shalom.
Okay, medium pizza is destroyed. So just finished camp for the night outside the forest. So the day passes. Akmite, the sun's come up. It's about 8 o'clock, and your shift is now officially over as the night has ended.
All right. Is everybody up?
I am now.
Draven, the sun is hitting you at the most awkward angle. The way it's reflecting off the river, it's just like coming under your eyelids. Draven? Did Anson not come back yet?
Stupid son. Go
He
go
was
back
here.
go back to sleep. Too early. Sorry, I had my voice muted for a minute.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
I was actually talking to myself, and I'm like, "Oh, they're not hearing me." Shit. Yeah. All right. Oh God, I guess I'm up. Ugh. All right. Well, now that we've at least been courteous, not arrived at dead of night, I'm going to do a perception check, see what I can see now that it's light out.
Okay. You see footsteps actually a little bit ways on the other, technically on the other bank of the river. You can see them. It looks like they walked up along the river, and then on the other, on the opposite bank, however, and then kind of like went off into the forest in a different direction.
Okay.
That's about all you can
Well,
see.
this is a well-traveled route, so no telling what can at night, or those footprints could have been from yesterday before we came. So I'm not worried about it.
Can I
Well-
see where those footprints lead?
You can follow them into the woods, but then the woods get too thick.
Hmm.
So unless you were to like cross the river and follow them off into the woods.
Yeah, probably be not a good idea to cross the river. Still have nightmares about the quippers.
Piranha.
Those movies were fun.
Let's head on to the village.
Yes.
You are you guys going to go around the woods, or are you going to go through the woods here? It's a small section of woods, but
No.
I say fuck it, let's go through the woods.
Yeah.
Why not?
you get in a little bit. It's like maybe just enough trees to where you turn around and the trees cover the forest back out. And you notice that all the trees in like this central area around this area of the river and on the other side they look like somebody clear cut here. They're down to stumps. You can't if you were to like take the couple of minutes it would take, you can't see in this far from the outside of the forest, and you can't see out of the forest from in here. But inside here it's just hollowed out. You can actually see where the other river comes through on the other side. Just gone.
Like these trees, just like they just been cut down, like with an axe.
It looks like something has been, just axing down trees. And like the entire...
Probably local villagers selling timber. Probably timber clearing.
Do you suppose this has anything to do with those noises we heard last?
I don't know. I mean, these markings look like they're from axes. I mean, it's obviously a sapien design, not from magic. So I have no idea.
Akmite, you know that there is a prohibition on mass cutting in this area because there's not another easily accessible forest for the city.
Well, there's a prohibition on mass cutting in the forest, like at least, from what I remember. This might have been those noises but I mean, they did say something about strange noises. So maybe, I mean, we can clearly tell that like the four you, train. Huh. I go to like, are we still close to like the edge, of the forest before we get in?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
are
you
we?
could. It would take you like a minute at most to walk in and out of the forest here. It's just the way the trees are so thick, you can't actually see outside of it and back inside of it.
Okay, I just go up to one of the trees that we kind of passed and like try to look at it and see if there might be any signs of like anything coming through, at least in it or around it besides us.
Roll
What
investigation.
would it? Yeah, investigation. Now,
With a nat 1, you walk up to this tree. That's a nice tree.
as an
It's got bark.
hmm.
That's
Agmite,
good,
why
thick
are you
bark.
looking at a tree like you want to kiss it?
No, I was. I guess I'm still a bit
The
exhausted.
legends of the tree huggers are true.
What are you smoking?
look.
Can I have some?
No, I just have a tough time sleeping. When it comes to my background, and I kind of show like the crap that comes off of my body, like the stony dust, and also like like I say that and the chainmail. You know, I didn't take that off before going to sleep.
Yeah, you gotta do that. That's kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah, so it's a bit hard to really get a good sleep after the day that we've had so far. I was the last one to on watch, and your snoring kind of kept me up. I look at Celtics.
Sorry.
It's
Nothing
all
I can
right.
do about it.
Quick administrative note. It's starting to storm here, so if my power goes out and I just disappear, we'll just have to call it there and pick back up here. Pick back up wherever my power goes out at, just in case.
Sounds
Sounds
good.
All right.
Sounds good.
I was just trying to investigate, see if there might have been any sort of signs of maybe someone coming through. I mean, the trees are cut. Like, how are they cut? Are they? Are we close to the river at all? or-
Yeah, the river is right next to you. You can see like the trees were cut up to the river and then on the other side of the river. But it's like someone left a boundary of trees. So there's only like maybe 6 or 7 cut here. But the other side of the river is just gone. If I were to actually make corrections to this map, I'll do a freehand line. Like this entire area is gone. As far as you can see.
Wow.
What in now realizing that that's how big it is, that's a bit nuts.
I
Not
suggest
a-
we investigate the area for clues.
yes.
Okay. Well, let me help you out.
Yes.
Let me help you out with that, man.
Ye-
What does that get me?
You can tell looking at some of these stumps that they were cut from both ends, from 2 different ends, like 2 axes were going at them at the same time. And there's a thought tinkling in the back of your head, but you can't quite think of. I'm just going to delete this. Celtics, you notice along with the same thing Draven notices about the way it's a dual cut. You notice there's like some sort of there's footsteps, and then leading up to every stump, and then around, and then like going over the stumps as though something like passed over it after it was cut, are really, really thin tracks, almost like snake tracks on both sides, but instead of that weird serpentine pattern, they're just straight lines, like almost like a cart was pushed across the stump. And you can see like every now and then you'll see like they turn and get another stump that wasn't in the path, that wasn't in a straight path, or like something like turned purposely to be straight on with these with where these trees would have been.
I relay this information. What do you guys make of this?
Obviously, all these trees being cut down is not a good thing, especially being all at once. And like Ike said, there's a prohibition in for mass cutting. So we can't physically do anything about this. It's more of Akmite's area of expertise. The only thing we can really do is push forward and try to continue doing what we're doing, and then let the guards know back in the city.
Yeah, I'd suggest we try to make our way towards that village, or try to at least. Can we? What would it be to like? Can we see anything like out in that big mass? Is there any like sort of structures or anything that might
the area that's cut down?
Yeah.
It's just as far as you can see. It's just. And I mean, literally, up in like that entire area is just flat. You don't even need a perception check. It's just stumps.
Yeah, like it seems like anything that was on that side of the river, and can't quite tell how far it go. Like this is because like I don't think I could see the other river from where we're at right now, or any signs. Is there even trees in the distance, or is it just like as far as the eye can see stumps?
So this whole like as far as your eye can see is stumps, and then you just suddenly see like a line of trees again way off in the distance. You can.
All right, so
in some
whenever
spots,
there's a mass cutting like this, normally there's trails leading in and out of these logs being hauled away. Do we see anything like that?
You see all the footsteps and like what looks like carts lines going out, and you do recall briefly that Teltix pointed out tracks on the other side of the river earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And Akmite, give me a history check real quick while these two are communicating.
Okay. History, here
This is a
we
local
go.
history thing. You know
17.
You know that there's a druid that lives in these woods somewhere. Like, he doesn't ever come into the city. He grew up in these woods. He lives in these woods, and every now and then, you'll hear about like him fending off a poacher or something.
Mm.
So for the woods to be gone when there's a druid actively here is disconcerting.
Yes, this is very disheartening. The druid here should have been able to stop this. Like, letting a couple of trees go, that's fine. He would have been, probably would have at least asked them to, maybe plant another one or something, but on a scale such as this, either something has to happen to him, happen to the druid for this to have happened. The druid here, doesn't either, like I've said, like usually interferes if they've cut down too many trees, or if a poacher is getting some sort of animal that he shouldn't be hunting, but why? Like, what happened? I think we've got to head towards this town and like speak with this Nicole person, and then head our way to the other side of this mass clearing, see if we can't see anything.
Do you
I
know
don't-
Do you know whereabouts this druid lives in the forest?
No, you don't know that.
No, I was about to actually just say that because I mean, druids tend to live in the forest. I mean, yes, sometimes from what I can gather from other druids, they'll have a nook, but usually in the deep parts. If he was to have one, it'd be in the deeper part of the wood. I mean, he can pass through trees and stuff, so
Okay, that's
mean-
fine. Good. All right, that's cool. Let's let's just get to this village.
yeah.
Agreed.
With the village, is the village on this side of the river?
Yes, it is on your side of the river.
Okay, so
It's just like the way your little clearing is set up. It's probably literally just straight across from you through like the little band of trees that you can see ahead of you.
okay, so let's make our way there.
It's
Yep.
it's a quick trip. Draven, as you guys step through into the other side of this where the woods come back again for the brief moment you're in there, I need a nature check from you.
You need a what?
A nature check.
Okay.
All of these trees that haven't been cut down are willow trees.
Or willows?
All the ones that seem to be banding the edge of the forest are all willow trees.
All of them were cut down.
No. The ones that aren't cut down are willow trees.
Oh,
Where the
whoa.
forest's edge is, kind of like as though the forest has been encapsulated in willow trees.
yeah.
Hmm.
I tell the other two, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. Probably a really bad thing. But it seems like all the trees were cut down except this line of willows.
Hmm.
And y'all know what my last name is. I'm not sure how this comes into play. Maybe they just don't like the wood of a willow tree. Maybe they think it's a bad bark. I don't know, but something to look into.
Can I roll nature or investigate if wood or anything?
To what? Sorry, you cut out there.
Can I use an investigation or nature, what have you, to see if willow trees are used for wood?
Nature, in this case.
Okay. Da-da-da-da-da.
You know that there are some structures and objects made out of willow. It's not an uncommon wood, so for them to still be standing is actually kind of awkward. Because why wouldn't you just take them too?
You know, willow trees are definitely used.
Well, I know they're used, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just making some sort of excuse here. I hope us walking into this village is not going to stir up anything bad. We're not going to have any farmers with pitchforks on our asses. But only one way to figure that out.
I have an idea. I would like to use my disguise kit
Okay.
to give Draven a disguise for entering in case such a thing should happen.
No, that's okay. If there's an issue, we'll deal with it. I'm not going to disguise myself. I mean, I can't choose my family. It's who it is. So why hide it? It's okay.
If you say so.
Unless
I sadly put away my disguise kit, having never gotten to use this thing.
As you step out from the willows, there is a fence in like this clearing area, and you can tell this is like the clearing that's supposed to be here. Did my circle go away? Oh, my circle went away. I made it like a little circle.
I see no circle. The circle's gone.
Oh no, it ran away.
All right. I'll put a shape here.
Yeah, it was there. Then it shifted a minute, and then it went away.
Okay, well, it just keeps going away. Okay, I'll work on that later then. Anyway, you come into this little tiny clearing and there's a fence. I was going to mark the village for you, but there's a fence and like you can tell just cabbage plots. Just cabbage. And there's little irrigation canals coming from the river into this area. And right on the other side of the fence is a house. And on the other side of that house is like 2 or 3 more houses. It's a village. There's like 3 houses here.
Walk. I would say walk along the
Excuse me.
fence until we get to kind of like where there'd be somewhat of a road to the center of this town, and see if we can't see anybody out and about. Is there any? Actually, is there anyone within the in that farm of the the cabbage field?
No. Cabbage field is currently empty. There's not really a road from what you can see. It's just 3 houses. They all kind of like exit into the same area, but there's no like road or anything like that.
Okay.
There's a well in the center.
I look at the well and throw a gold piece in.
As you all walk up further into the center of town, and Teltix goes and throws a gold piece in the well, you hear a small voice. Oh, I'll have to fish that out later. Can we help you?
Oh, I turn to the direction of the voice.
You turn and then look down, and there is a small dwarven-looking child kind of looking up at you. Hi.
Hello. I kneel down and shake her hand.
She shakes back.
I'm Teltix.
I'm Marion. What are
Pleasure.
you doing here, Teltix?
We are looking for a woman named Nicole.
Oh,
Where she might have been.
Miss Nicole? Oh, she's
Yes.
probably still asleep. She had a long night last night. She went out in the woods trying to look for the noises. She couldn't find them, though. She came back really late.
I'm sorry, you cut out there for a minute.
She said that Nicole had gone out into the forest for kind of late, looking for the noises that everybody's been hearing.
You cut out at the same spot.
All right, let me try something real quick.
All right.
I'm going to DC Rec real quick. All right, how's that?
Better.
Okay.
Far so good.
She tells you Nicole went out into the woods last night to look for the noises. She came back really late.
Oh, I see. Can we wait somewhere until she wakes up? Thank you.
There's a bench, and she kind of like points, and like there's like a couple of benches like outside everybody's houses. That one's mine. She points to like a house made of solid stone. You can sit on the bench there, and I'll go get Miss Nicole. She probably doesn't want strangers knocking on her door, but I'll go knock for you.
Okay. Thank you.
And she smiles. What do you want Miss Nicole for though? So I can let her know.
I turn to Akamite.
I tell this little one. She put in a request because there were some disturbances in the woods here.
Oh yeah, because all the trees went missing.
Yes, we just happened upon that this morning. I believe that's probably might be the cause of the noise.
It's rather disturbing, if I'm honest.
I'm sorry. Did you say your name was Marion?
Marion.
Marion, hi. I'm Draven. How are you?
Hi. You look like Mayor Wilson.
Oh, really? I'll have to meet this Mayor Wilson.
He's an elf.
You said the trees went missing. Did they all vanish at once, or was it little by little?
It was little by little. We kept hearing really loud noises and people at night, but when we'd go out to find it, it'd be dark, really dark for no reason. Even to people like you, and she kind of like pokes you, who can see really well in the dark, and like my daddy can, they couldn't see through it. It was like something was making them blind. And then every day when we'd go back out there in the sunlight, there'd be more and more trees gone. And before long, all the trees were just gone.
Wow. Say, where's this Mayor Wilson at? Is he? Do you think he'd be up right now?
She points to Nicole's house borders the woods right by the river for her cabbage farm. Their house borders the looking out from Nicole's house, the right side of this clearing, and then she points to the left side to the other houses there. That's Mayor Wilson's house. He normally doesn't wake up until like noon. I don't think he goes into his elf sleep until really late.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, I'll have to discuss matters with him later then. Tell me, I know that you said Nicole was out late last night. We actually heard some commotion up there too, but we were just making camp. I didn't think it was anything too important. So, how long do you think this Nicole's going to stay asleep for this morning?
I'm gonna go wake her up for you. She'll be all right.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a bother. We're just here to help, try to figure things out. So whatever you can do to help us do that.
Miss Nicole said she'd asked for adventurers to come help. You know, great heroes to come save us.
And here
Whatever's
we are.
coming down our trees, and we haven't seen Mr. Longfellow in forever since the trees started cutting down, and it's his job to protect the trees. So we're very confused.
Is he your local druid?
Mm-hmm. He takes care of all the trees. He used to come out of the apple tree, and she points and she's like, "Oh yeah." She kind of like gets a sad look, and he used to hand me little apples from the apple tree. Now she's kind of sad.
Have you not seen him for a while?
Not since the tree started getting missing.
I see.
Well,
Well, we
good.
will
I'd
do
say-
our best to find him.
She's just sadly nodding. There's a tear in her eye.
I nudged Draven, hand her a marshmallow.
Well,
Please don't.
tell you, Marion, I'm so sorry you've been having to go through all this mess, but I promise you we'll do everything we can to put things right to where they were.
And she's just like, mm-hmm. That's what Miss Nicole said.
Well, all right, well, go wake her up for me, and so we can talk to her and see what we can do. Okay?
She nods and she kind of like scampers off, scampering kind of slowly, like sadly scampering.
Aw.
And she comes up to the door and she knocks on the center of it, and then she pulls the door handle, and the door just kind of opens, and she walks in. And she's in there for a couple minutes. If you three want to have a discussion before she comes back out.
I sit down on the bench and light up a cigarette. You know, just chilling out.
You go to light your cigarette, and it won't stay
Mhm.
lit.
Hmm.
You can make fire on your fingers with thaumaturgy and all that, but your cigarette won't stay lit.
Interesting.
Might
there
be
some-
the-
Is there some kind of anti-smoking magic?
Roll Arcana.
Okay.
Yes, you know that there are some places that have small wards around them that prevent cigarettes from being lit in any sort of tobacco product, anything that smokes.
Oh, well, damn. There's nowhere I can have a smoke anymore. God damn it.
and that's a 9 and
Hmm?
I have physical dice and I just wanted to roll my own thing.
Okay.
But all right.
Marion comes back out the door. She opens the door and she scramples out, and then like she gets like 3 or 4 scampers towards you. 3 or 4 scampers? That's a unit of measurement now. Towards you, and you see the door opens again, and there's a hag actually walks out. Hello, darlings. You must
Hello.
be from the guild.
Good morning. You must,
Sorry, the dog was just perfect.
Good morning. You must be Nicole.
Oh yeah, my friends call me Nikki though.
Nikki.
Can I do a real quick investigation on her face? See if
To see if she's what?
to see if she's any of the hags from yesterday.
I would have been the one to. I would have to roll that.
Yeah, I was gonna
'cause I'm
say
the only
Akmite's the only one who actually saw them, so Akmite will be the one who
Yeah.
saw that. You were still
So-
you were blinded by the light.
So could I at least try to see if maybe
Yeah,
she
you
was
can
one of
roll and for this roll history just to see if you can remember the face.
them? All right. 19.
No, her hair's the wrong color. It's very brightly colored, whereas the hags you saw the other night were very dark. It's hard to tell because a lot of hags have a very similar face shape, to do with their like genetics as being hags. But her hair is definitely the wrong shade. And it's longer than theirs was.
Are you telling me all hags look the same? How dare you?
Well, seeing my
Hashtag
compatriot
not all hags.
have that quizzing face, I told her she's not one of them. Their hairs were dark. Looked a-
Hashtag hag pride.
She looks at you. One of who, dearie? One of who?
We
worry about it.
came across some sort of ritual being held just outside the city. My compatriots and I stumbled upon what looked like a couple of hags performing a satanic ritual. But-
And she kind of like comes and sits down on the bench. They were trying to summon one of the lords again. You hear that's not her.
Again?
She doesn't say that. You hear another voice as like this dwarven woman steps out of the stone house and looks down at Nicole, and Nicole's. That's what it sounds like, dearie. She
Yes.
The dwarven woman like grabs Marion by the shoulder and leads her back inside, and like you hear like a lock.
Oh, yes. But besides that, it was just my friend had concerns. But you put in a request for some adventurers to come out and investigate some strange noises. I'm guessing as I turn, this must have been what those strange noises came from. What time of day would it have been that you've heard these?
They happen all day long. When they were closer, it was constant. But whenever you went to go find them, it would just be a black veil, like someone cast a darkness spell or somebody had blinded us. So you would never find anything. But then, if you go to where the noises had been but weren't anymore, the trees were all gone. I'm having trouble doing like the rasp in her voice, so excuse me on that.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay.
If you listen really
And-
close, you can hear them still off far in the distance.
I listen.
Perception checks.
Yeah. I'll roll one.
Just because I can.
15.
I'm too mesmerized by the story.
Akmite and Teltix, though, you can hear like that grinding, odd metallic noises, the occasional creak. It's very quiet and very distant.
Yeah,
Holy
you
shit, you're right.
think that they would have, instead of making the strange noises, you'd think they'd at least, I don't know, done something to quiet the noise. I mean, they're going to get people complaining about the noise more than the sight. I mean, I guess they don't want to be seen, but like, maybe they're just limited on what they can cast.
She looks at you. That was my thought too. And she holds up a little coin. This is connected to the druid who lives here, whose name I've already forgotten. Fuck.
Was it Wilson?
No.
That was the mayor.
Oh.
Mayor Wilson. I can't remember. It was a silly name. Fuck, I've already forgotten. Forgotten my own character name. Anyway,
Oh no.
this is connected to his life force in a way. He gave it to me as a way to know if he was alive or not, because he went missing sometime back when I was a much younger girl, and I was much like Marion is now, and I was very worried about him. So when he came back, he gave me this. So long as he still lives, the amulet will be gold as it is. When he dies, it will turn black. So I know he's still alive somewhere, but he seems to be unable to help. Perhaps my assumption is whatever they're using to keep him at bay is preventing them from keeping themselves quiet as well as invisible.
Do we know who they are?
No one's ever seen them. Just heard them. They're mumblings. And even then, those are faint.
Have you noticed that they have cleared out a lot of trees except for a certain type?
They've been skipping the willows. The willows grow around the edge of the forest. They were planted there. That way.
Any idea why?
I think it's the Willow clan or something like that. It associates with the tree in some way. Many cycles ago, their last, not the guy who's supposed to be in charge of it now, but the person beforehand had planted them. So she's talking about your grandfather.
Yeah, yeah. Really?
But
a member? Go ahead.
But it was kept quiet. It was something he did. I think she kind of looks around. I think he did it to hide something that he was doing here, but no one knows what.
Interesting.
Out of character, do the willow trees separate the wood line from the village?
Yes. They are essentially the wood line that prevents you from that separates the main forest from everything else.
And nothing's been touched past the willows.
The willows themselves and nothing outside of them. Once you're inside the willows and it just turns to regular trees again, those are all gone. Yeah. But yeah.
You know, now that I take a look at it, Nicole, it seems like the willows are protecting the village. Like nothing's been cleared past them. Like nothing has come close to the village past the willows. Do you think maybe there was a protection of some sorts?
She shakes her
Like
head.
a ward spell?
She shakes her head. No, the druid. I asked him about that once. If the willows were magical in any way, because they was always safe. You always knew you were safe because the willows were right there. So they separated us from the bears and stuff in the woods. But he always said no magic in them.
Hmm.
I think they just, for some reason, didn't cut them. The mayor thinks it's so that people looking out can't see into where they're cut.
No, there's got to be something deeper going on here. That can't be it.
She gives you like this haggard shrug, like I'm tired.
And I've got a stern face going, like a very confused, stern face. Like I'm in deep thought. Like why would this do something like this? I don't understand. What's the connection?
But trying to think here. Would you know where? Has he said where his like home may be? Does he even have it, or does he just live amongst the trees?
He doesn't have a house. He just lives in a tree. When he gets tired, he just goes into a tree and goes to sleep. He took me with me. He took me with him once into the trees. It was really pretty in there. You can see the whole forest or inside the trees because they're all connected.
Yeah.
Or they were at least.
Sounds magical.
She kind of nods. We have our own magic, but it's not the same.
Well, I meant magical in an awe-inspiring sort of way. But, you know.
She gives you just a nod. Not really saying anything to that.
Ek might look at everyone and kind of goes, well, we couldn't really get much from this side of the river from the trees that we saw that were cut down, but I say we head on over and maybe see if there might be any more evidence, maybe some tracks, Have you seen any tracks maybe leading anywhere, or have they been somewhat clean?
She stands up now off the bench. I'll show you the tracks I found last night. They lead off from somewhere in the center into the other side of the riverbank. When I crossed the river over there, I came across another section. She means the opposite river, by the way.
Yep.
There was another, like, just the trees kind of bordering it. Again, willows again along that side of the river. And then on the other side, more trees gone, and then that darkness that I couldn't get through when I stepped into the trees again.
Hmm.
Well, it looks like our best bet is to follow the track, see where they're taking all these trees to.
I can show you the way.
All right.
At least I can show you the way into the woods. I can't show you the way back out. I don't know where they've gone.
No, that's fine. Because the way we figure it, in order to haul all these trees out, there's going to be cart marks. There's going to be drag marks, footprints. Construction or cutting of this proportion will leave traces, without a doubt. It's just our matter of finding those traces.
She nods.
Ekmite's gonna roll a history check because he wants to know. I want him to see if he would know anything about transporting, other ways of transporting, besides just using carts.
Okay.
6. He wouldn't know. I don't think he would know about the water, like transporting it down rivers and stuff like that.
Right. Well, actually, no, that's a pretty common thing in Grindolia. You would know about that, even with a low history check.
Okay, so if they surprised no one's reported seeing, the only other way I could think they could get these out, like, is either by transporting them, because if they use the waterways, they would have been spotted. So whatever, like, wherever this blackness or farther out is, they must have some way to transport it.
As you
Maybe
mentioned the
do-
waterways, Nicole looks up. You can't take the rivers out of the forest here. There's fish in them. They destroy boats. Big fish.
Quippers?
Big quippers. She looks at you like, and she like holds her hands out like 4 foot in length, like big quippers. You don't want to get in the water around here. We have
Oh, God.
There's bridges set up to get across the rivers. They're not touched. But you don't want to get in the water here. Even boats, even the larger, sturdier boats that they've built for these rivers get destroyed. It's why the fishermen go upstream to fish. The quippers can't get that far up. Not on this side,
Thank
at
God
least.
for that.
Well,
Every now and then you'll get a shark come up from the ocean and eat them. It keeps the numbers
Are you,
down.
are you fucking shitting me? And we have to deal with sharks and quippers?
She looks at you, only if you get in the water. There's bridges.
Well, looks like our best bet is to just try to follow these tracks to where these people are taking their trees. Then we'll find the source of what's going on.
all right.
So our best bet is to have Nicole lead us to where she needs to lead us, but ultimately we need to find our way back to the bridge, get on the back to the other side, because that's where we saw those other tracks as well.
Yeah. Probably get that going.
Yes.
Nicole, would you please show us the way?
She stands up. Yeah, I can show you. Just let me go grab something out of my house real fast. And she kind of walks over there, goes inside. She doesn't even close the door. And she comes back out with a what looks like a wooden cylinder, and it's kind of thick. And she's got a spoon in her other hand. I haven't had breakfast yet, and you can smell cabbage coming from it. She's just casually eating cabbage soup out of this cylinder. It's essentially a thermos made of wood.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, please take your time.
And she like, follow me, and she just goes munching on the cabbage as she walks.
I remember somebody mentioning that they really liked cabbage stew.
She looks back at you. Cabbage stew it's not really good, but it's the only thing I have here.
Hmm.
Short of doing that which drives most hags from civilization in the first place, eating children, but that's vile.
Well, that is never good.
evil. So, cabbage it is.
That's probably a smart idea. We pulled over a cannibal earlier, so yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
there's one in the
That's
woods as well.
yeah.
I-
That
I-
was another thing I was going to ask if you've seen anybody possibly taking human remains, at least parts of bodies, and turning them into jerky.
There was for a while a human who would come out of who would dispense with any corpses in the woods. It was his job for a while, but he hasn't been seen since everything started happening either. We know what happened to him though. We found his body in the river, or what was left of it.
So the supply trade on the human meat, so that's good.
He got what he wrought in the end.
Yes, even though I don't trust what the word. I know it should be kinder to humans, but I don't trust what that one said out of his mouth. Again, I'm more kinder to the children humans because their children are innocent compared to adults like the one we met at that shop.
Clearly, you haven't grown up in. They are
Clearly.
awful.
You cut out there after grown up.
I said, wait, who? Who cut out?
You did. You were
Clearly.
like, clearly you haven't grown up.
Oh, clearly you haven't grown up in an orphan. Children are awful when they come from there.
No,
Get me
but
started.
a couple of my guard friends came from a couple of those in the city, so the stories they've told and from what I've noticed, they don't seem to be good people.
Nope, not one bit.
She leads you out. You go through the willows while you're having this conversation, and there's like little bridges, small bridges, very small. They arc up over the water instead of flat across it. And as you kind of like step onto this just simple bridge, you can see why. Because as you begin to walk, you can see these giant quippers begin jumping out of the water, trying to bite at it, but they can't reach it.
All right. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Akmite will basically be mute for a bit.
That's fine. You all are just walking for a while. It's going to take you a minute to walk the distance anyway. You two talking about anything?
Go the distance.
Nicole's just munching on her cabbage stew.
So is all you eat is cabbage here?
It's all I eat. I can't eat any of the meat, otherwise it will. It causes certain
Entices.
instincts. Exactly, it causes certain instincts to reawaken that are long held down. And
That's understandable. I understand.
the other crops that grow around here, they just don't grow as plentiful. The druid started the cabbage farm at one point, and my grandmother began it. Rather, kept it up after he started taking care of the woods as large, and it's just become a family thing to take care of.
I understand.
Surely you must get tired of cabbage.
Indeed, but it is still better than the alternative. That I would even think for a moment to harm Marion. I could not live with myself.
I understand.
Have you tried growing some sort of rice or carrots or any other vegetable other than cabbage?
We've tried, but whatever was
It
done
just-
to the soil by the druid, it won't allow anything else here to grow. I think it was to prevent people from tampering with the cabbage originally, and now it prevents other things from growing.
Well, that's rude.
Weeds also don't grow in it, though. You don't really have to tend it more than keeping it watered, but weeds, other plants don't grow. I think that was the original purpose.
That's pretty convenient.
Mm-hmm.
It's just become a bit of a nuisance, but we don't want to remove the spell because it might wipe out the field entirely.
Gotcha.
Understandable.
Gotcha.
Ooh, I had an idea. I just had an idea. Hey, Draven, try giving her some of those marshmallows you got.
I don't have any.
What?
I don't have any.
I thought Teltix took the bag.
Oh, I did?
She did.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I hand her a marshmallow. Here, try this. It's a sugary treat for kids. It's really good.
And she just like plops in her mouth. She's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's really sweet." Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She
It's
doesn't.
got to
she's
be
got-
better than those cabbage.
She's like, "I don't know about that. Ah, too much sugar."
Worth a shot.
She looks at you. She looks at you. Perhaps others may like it. I think I may just be too accustomed to the flavor of my cabbage stew.
Yeah.
I don't think any
I
actually
understand.
taste right anymore.
Perhaps. Tell me, how long has these trees been disappearing? Like how long ago was the first incident?
Ooh. She starts counting. About 3 months ago.
3 months.
Let me pull open a chart here real quick.
I casually munch on marshmallows.
Casual munching.
Yes.
It was during the dry season when they started, beginning of the dry season.
Mm-hmm. Beginning of the dry season, about a few months ago. I can't recall if anything that's happened. Can I do a history check to see if I knew of anything around the family that was going on in my head?
Yeah, you can try and recall information if.
No, nothing.
Well, you're just like spacing right
Yeah.
now.
Has she saw the willow on my back? Has she perceived that at all? Yeah.
Oh, she's seen it, but she hasn't said anything about it. To her, it's just a thing.
I gotcha.
She probably.
I don't know. I don't know if she made the connection or not because she hasn't asked about it.
She probably just meta. She doesn't. She's never met someone from the Willow clan herself.
Okay.
So she's heard of it, but she doesn't know anything about it more than it's a noble family that planted all these willows.
Gotcha.
Beyond that,
And I can't seem to recall the knowledge of why. Oh well.
is
Lucky.
is Akmat back?
Yeah, I've been back. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Akmite's just gonna sit there. He's thinking. He's thinking. He's basically thinking, those portals we've come across. That could have been a way. I mean, they just come out of nowhere, and the first one we did, like, what was it? A freak.
It was
Tries
a
to
canyon.
remember.
It was a canyon
Well,
that popped out of nowhere.
Yeah,
At
but
first it was a big wind. It was a
poisonous.
poisonous gas wind, gas cloud wind that just torrenched the entire terrain, and we fell into a canyon.
Yeah, and
then we came out and it was all gone, like nothing had
Yes.
happened.
yeah, and it's just strange that like that one we didn't see any portal. We didn't go into any portal. It just that's what popped up. We just popped there. We seemingly went through a the canyon into a somewhat of a fog. So I don't know. And
But this
then
has been,
we went.
this has been happening periodically, like almost routine, every day, every night. So more and more trees have been missing under the shroud of darkness, and quite
And-
literally darkness. So there's
Mm.
magic afoot. And
Yeah.
we need to get to the bottom of it.
Maybe one of the portals that leads to another realm. Those people were able to keep it. I don't even. We did. Do we even know what the condition is? Like we never figured out the condition of the portal that we last went into, did we? Like the one that was in that cave. Like
no one had asked
when-
about it. No.
yeah, it was. That's something I gotta ask Kelky when we get back, because I hope that portal's closed. Because even though, I mean, those creatures that came out of it, you know, possibly,
Portals, man.
yeah.
Uh,
We didn't see any entrance to the portal when we went through it, did we? Like when we went through it on our side, there was no portal anywhere near us when
Like it
went
wasn't
through.
visible.
yeah,
mean,
it was
there-
invisible.
Physically, there was no portal for the first one. It was just, hey, there a gas is chasing us. Run! And we fall into a canyon.
And also somehow end up on the mountain.
Yeah, and like a ravine and something that didn't fit our
obviously,
world.
Obviously, there are mysteries to these portals, but even Teresa doesn't even know, because she was very surprised about it. Like, oh Lord, another one.
Yes, when we came back, her and I don't know, remember the other guy's name. The shady fella. Let's
The
call him
snake
that.
dude.
Yes. But
We'll call him Slithers.
I have.
but yeah, the fact that they couldn't tell, like, even if the portals were even there. How close are we towards the spot?
as you're finishing your conversation, Nicole's actually stopped a little bit ahead of you. And she's kind of got like an ear open. When she notices you all kind of like stop and look over, she kind of like goes back to like not paying attention. Like, I wasn't looking. I wasn't listening. And you're at a bridge that leads across, and she's like, just there on the other side. The tracks lead straight across the bridge, through this section of willows, and then darkness. Last night, at least. This morning, you'll probably come across some more cleared area, and then darkness.
Okay.
Yay.
So we're gonna cross the bridge, and then
Can
once we get
I see the
Start that over. You start.
or can I
Disconnect and come back in real quick. You're cutting out like a lot.
hello, is that any better?
For now.
Yeah.
Can I hear the metallic clanging still?
Oh yeah, now that you're here, it's really loud.
Okay.
All of you can hear it.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Once we cross the bridge, I want to do a perception check on the ground to see never mind, because we know, since we can hear it clearly, we can definitely tell where it's coming from, right?
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
this great kind of cacophony.
And we can physically see all the tracks and all the stuff and
Mhm.
everything on the ground.
Yeah, now that you've already looked, you know what you're looking for. You can just see them.
Also, great use of the word cacophony. Haven't heard that used in years.
Ekmite's gonna do a perception check to see if there's any sort of disturbance in the air, like if there might be any like, since it's just cutting down forest, there's clearly birds, and there'd clearly be birds and stuff being disturbed by it.
Every so often, you don't need to roll for this. Every so often, you
Hmm.
hear the creaking of what sounds like a tree being felled, and then you hear like squeaking birds and chittering and all that. You constantly just hear it sounds like animals being just running and skittering off. It's deep within the cacophony. You can hear that as well. It's just part of it.
Cacophony.
Well, seems like everything is in this direction. Nicole, if you do you want to accompany us, or do you want to go back to the village?
She shakes her head. No, I'd only gotten about an hour of sleep when Marianne knocked on the door. I am in no condition to be of assistance beyond this. I'm not good. If you manage to figure out what's going on, I'm no good in a fight.
No problem.
Alright.
Well,
If,
you rest.
We're gonna
Well-
go scout up ahead, see what's going on, see if we can't get any intel, and if we find a way, like if it gets just too bad, if we figure out it's just too much for us to handle, we'll just come back and let you know. But we're gonna go scout up ahead, see what's going on, and see if we can do anything about it.
Thank you. I'll see you back at the village, I hope. And she looks at Teltix and Akamite as well, and she kind of gives the three of you a bow.
I tip my hat.
I somewhat small bow, like bow my head.
Kind of hard to bow in that big ass armor.
I'm wearing chainmail.
Still though, can't be
And-
comfortable.
She's walking away at this point after all this.
I light up a cigarette.
It lights.
Thank God.
I look to her and say, probably in town. Maybe they don't really like fires, or maybe it's just those trees. Maybe they're somewhat protecting of the fire, but for right now, let's head in and
Yeah.
come investigate this darkness with machine sounding or metal sounding stuff.
Okay, so we can obviously hear what's going on. Can we tell the distance between us and
It's
the commotion?
it's really close. Like it's likely right on the other side of these willows is what you can figure. Is best you can figure rather. Is that it's if it's there, it's within feet of the other side of these willows.
I gotcha. What do y'all think for us to just stealth in to the clearing, stay inside the brush, and see if
Can't
we
be
can
too
peer
hard
in?
with all this racket.
No.
Mm,
So let's go up and see what we can find, see what we can peer into. Do you want us to roll a stealth check?
Yep, you'll have advantage on this because of the noise.
Okay.
Alright, perfect.
Nat 20.
8.
Oof.
Draven, you sneak in there just fine. Akmite and Teltix, you both kind of stealth in, and then you're not paying attention because you're trying to make sure you don't step on anything Draven style, and you run into each other behind a tree, and you just both fall into the clearing. It's empty, but you can see there's just a band of darkness around the other side of the clearing.
I
Watch where you're going.
sorry. Get up and I don't want to. I get up and go, that's weird, and I walk back the other way. Like, just play like, oh, that's weird. Do I have to roll anything for that, or do I just seem like a crazy nut job to
just to be
whoever
casual.
Yeah.
No, you're good.
That sounds like a performance roll to me.
It's one of those like we all clearly know what's going on. No matter how hard you could nat 20 and you'd be like, yeah, you look casual, but we all, regardless, can insight that. That was too awkward of an encounter.
All right.
Draven, roll Arcana.
All right, so Arcana.
There's something familiar about this darkness. You can feel the magic coming off of it, and it's very familiar to you.
Yes, and blood-related familiar.
Possibly.
Oh Lord, guys, I'm feeling something of very familiar with this magic, and it is not good. Like familiar, as in family familiar.
Perhaps. Can I roll Arcana to see if I can sense anything odd about this?
And can I roll, like... There's still noise, so there's probably people talking with each other.
If you want to listen, you can roll perception.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Okay.
roll.
We'll get to you in just a second.
That is weird.
A 20. A modified 20.
All right, Celtics. This is funny because this one is actually both informative and sucky. You feel an infernal pull on the other side of this darkness, and you begin walking towards it. Like, completely absent-mindedly, just begin zombie walking yourself towards this darkness.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna... Celtics, Akmite's gonna grab her as we're both kind of shouting for her. And pull her back.
You both grab her, and and like she just like halts, and like for a couple of seconds she keeps trying to walk, and then she stops. And Celtics, you come back to your senses. You know what you were just doing, but you like for a brief instant didn't have control of it.
What the fuck? What was that?
What are you doing? Why did you walk towards that?
I don't know. What the fuck? I just started moving on my own.
And Akmite, with your perception check, you can hear voices. You can hear the sound of voices. They're really loud, like someone shouting right on the other side, or talking right on the other side, even in a loud voice. But it's like the words are garbled. You can't make out the words, as though it's going through some sort of filter and just garbling it. It's not muting it; it's just garbling it.
I turn to Draven. Is there any sort of magic that you would know, or maybe even myself, that could distort voices as well as do something like this darkness here?
But for both of you, if you wanted to like do a knowledge for spells, just roll another Arcana check.
All right.
Which one do you want to give me?
Do
I know it very well, or no, I don't.
I got a 14 on mine.
I got an 18.
Akmite and Draven, you both are talking about this, and you're like, I don't know of any spells. Celtics, you know that there is an infernal magic, which lines up with the infernal pull you were just feeling, and you can still kind of feel the infernal. There is an infernal magic that can be used that distorts voices and can cause darkness. It's normally incorporated with a silence spell to make things quiet, and then the distortion is in case something can break the silence spell. But for whatever reason, that doesn't seem to be present here.
I don't know. There's something like that, but it's not at play here. This is something different.
I want to walk up there and put my hand on the actual darkness.
All right.
Bubble on the bubble, I guess you could say.
I'll be like right next to him, like just in case, while still holding on to, our somewhat,
just like holding Celtics.
Yeah, holding her, be like, I don't want you zombifying walking in there. I want someone conscious walking in there.
So, you all walk up to this, and Draven, the moment you touch it, the willow symbol on your back glows for an instant. You can't see it, but everybody behind you can. And the darkness doesn't dissipate for those two, but you can suddenly see through it.
What do I see?
You see immediately in front of you, you see a big red metal box on looks like wagon wheels with two big axes sitting in front of it, and and you hear like this metal grinding noises coming directly from it, and you can watch as like the axes open, and then they slam shut like an ant biting something, and they just chop into the tree. Oh, sorry, I almost spilled cocoa over my laptop.
Oh.
Heart attack. Saved it. But that's what you can see the moment you like step up and can perceive.
Okay.
It takes
So
up
I s-
a majority of your sight. You can see around it. There's a ton of these machines.
Mhm.
But you can't see where the voices are. They're probably on the other side of the machine.
Yeah. So I step back.
You
And
step back, your thing stops glowing, and you can't see anymore.
Yeah, and I look to the other two, kind of shocked, like, huh, yeah, you won't believe what's going on over there. There are machines, actual axe machines cutting down these trees. Hundreds of them.
What the fuck?
Like big axes just chopping back and forth, cutting these trees down. I've never seen anything like it.
Some sort of keen clockwork.
Did y'all not see it?
No, we just saw the symbol in your black back glow. You know, I had to
His back is
hold.
black.
What? My
Akmite
symbol?
looks at. Yeah, the symbol on your house sigil, I guess, started glowing. You said the thing felt like blood magic, didn't you? Could it possibly be that Akmite then looks like kind of like putting some things together? Your dad came to pick you up.
Yeah.
Do you think? But that was. She said,
I don't remember.
could he have had some people maybe come here prior to all this happening?
I was chained up in a cell the whole time. I don't know what was going on.
This was before the 3 months before. You weren't chained up 3 months beforehand.
No. I when we were back at Nicole's, I tried recalling if there was any sort of events, but I couldn't remember anything that came to my mind. Nothing that would correspond to this, at least. I mean, before I did this, it was just day in, day out, routine council work, and it was just mainly just tedious bullcrap.
So I'm guessing
This is
probably kept. So if this is work of, well, your father, or at least your father's, your line.
If this is the work of my father or my grandfather, it's nothing good.
Why would your grandfather? Why would your grandfather do something like this? I mean, it clearly.
I'm gonna do a history check, see if I can recall my grandfather, see how he was as a person, if he was like my father.
Okay. You don't really need a high check for this.
Okay.
He was actually a really reverb. Anyway, he was actually a really generous soul, from what you remember. You also recall he mysteriously died, when you were very young.
Okay.
And that's how your father ended up taking over his position, is after your grandfather died, just mysterious illness.
I sense a Mufasa Scar situation.
From what I recall of my grandfather, I was very young when he died, but he was very generous and very nice and a man of the people. But he died when I was really young. That's when my father came to power. I don't know anything else other than that.
I will note your grandfather was still racist. Just he was generous. He was a generous racist.
Gotcha. He was generous.
Generous.
He was a very generous elf. That's about all I know, but we won't know more unless. Obviously, I can walk through this darkness, but I don't know if that's such a good idea. But we need to figure this out.
You and Teltrix can roll me on Arcana. You, because now you know what's kind of got a feel for what's going on, and Teltrix because she got a high Arcana earlier for this.
Fuck.
I was gonna say with advantage for Teltrix, so it's a 24 at least.
Oh, good.
Celtics, you from what you're thinking and what you were able to feel earlier, you know that at least the infernal version of what you know about, which this seems to be an offshot of some sort. Normally, whatever the key is, quote unquote, whatever it is that lets things in and out. Normally, so long as everything is touching it, everyone who wants to go through at a particular time is touching it. It normally works as a safe travel for everybody, but everybody has to be touching the same key. But you can't be sure it would work here.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand a word of that.
Pretty much, since I'm the key, if you touch me and walk through at the same time with me, then
Okay.
we can all go through. We can all have a safe passage through. The
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she relays that information to us.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So, touch my shoulders, stand behind me. Let's walk through together.
All right.
Okay.
We do
I
that.
might.
I've touched my hand on the bubble.
What's Akmite doing?
I said Akmite was kind of like putting a shield, like kind of still having a shield up just in case, just I don't know what is on the other side.
All right.
I ready a sickle in one hand.
Okay. You two walk. Draven touches it, and you guys kind of walk forward a little bit, and it's clear. You both, all three of you, can see this. Just these giant machines everywhere, and you can actually hear the voices talking now.
Okay.
You actually hear. It sounds like footsteps as you watch. Two individuals walk in and two individuals walk out. It looks like there's some sort of shift change as these two individuals they shake hands. You hear mutterings about how the night went and all that, and then the two of them leave, and the other two kind of come back over where those two were standing on the other side of the machine in front of you. Teltix, as you look at this machine that's like literally right in front of you, you can tell this is pure clockwork.
Guys, this is nothing but gears and cogs. These are just machines. They're not living in any way.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I told you they were machines.
Do you want to try investigating them? Just checking them out? See if there's any discerning marks on them?
I don't. I think we need to talk to one of these workers. When I think.
Do you really think that's such a good idea, given where they are?
If we can get one of them alone and then interrogate, I need to find out what's going on here.
I like the way you think. Let's do it.
As you're having this conversation, you kind of come to your conclusion. A bright red beam of light hits the back of the machine. You watch as it was kind of like started to slow down as chopping, and Teltix, you spent some time around clockwork, so you understand that like most of it needs to be wound or something like that to keep it going. You watch as it begins to slow down, this light hits the back of it, and then it just suddenly starts picking back up speed as though it's been wound by this light.
Okay. It looks like it's being wound up by that light. Maybe if we can block it out, we can stop the machines.
Can we tell where the light's coming from?
From the angle you have, it came from the other side of it. You'd have to like peer around the machine. You'd have to go up to the machine and like look around it to see.
Okay, we'd probably have to do a stealth check first to do that.
Yeah.
With advantage again.
I think as long as we stay on the other side of the sharp axey bits, we'll be fine.
Yeah, so long as the only thing you really need
16.
The biggest issue for stealth here is just like when you poke your head around the corner to look, you don't like fall over or something into visibility. All of you got a 16. You all like sneak up behind this machine and you do like the totem pole heads, Three Stooges style, and shrink like Scooby Doo out from behind the thing. Yep.
Oh jeez.
Okay.
And you look over and you can see these two guards are kind of like, they look like they're tired and they're like eating breakfast or something real quick in like these like little wooden chairs they have. And you see on top of what looks like a little hill or maybe like a rock or something that's just overgrown with moss. You can't really tell, but it's kind of big in the center of this clearing that's kind of been cleared out so far. There is a small humanoid figure pinned to the ground with what looks like some sort of arcane energy kind of being pulled out of his body into these red stones that are in a circle around him. You can't see very well what the ground looks like there, but you can see like the energy is being pulled out of him into these stones, and you can see the stones are like it swirls around the stones with like a red line, kind of like picture like a Tesla coil almost. And then every now and then one of the stones will shoot a spark of this red energy out and rewind the machines. And there is a third person actually up there, like just kind of sitting and watching this happen. Like he's watching this is his duty, and you can tell by the looks of him that he's magic. He's some sort of magic user himself.
Okay.
Are they all in the same vicinity as each other?
No, there's like they're all in this clearing, but there's quite a distance between the individuals by this machine that you're actually behind and the gentleman up on the hill. Let me get a distance here. It is about 20 foot.
All of them are?
Yeah, they're within a 20-foot area of one another.
Good. I cast sleep.
Okay.
Targets within 20 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and click the sleep button while Akmite.
I was gonna say Akmite was about to do the same thing. Like,
do you want to cast your
sleep.
sleep together?
With that, like,
I'll let it stack in this situation.
Stack.
I'll let it
Okay.
stack in this situation.
Okay,
right.
so I just have to click my thingy. Sleep. Let's go.
Ooh, thank
Okay, so
God.
that's 1, 22 plus the 21. That's
43.
43.
You hear one of the guys behind the machine, kind of like you see him just lean his head forward and fall asleep, and his buddy looks
Okay.
over him and he's like, "It's too early. Why they got us out here this early? Old Man Willow. Gonna have to ask him for a pay raise next time we're in the city."
Only one of them fell asleep?
Only one of them fell asleep.
Well, that's good. We managed to get one of them alone.
Wait. What was the mayor's name?
Wilson was the mayor's
Okay,
name. He said Old
okay.
Man Willow.
Old Man Willow. I look at Draven's left. Yeah, Draven.
Yep, he's talking about my father.
Is your father old
Quite.
or a man?
Yeah.
He has Celtics.
No, his father is one of those women who wanted to be a man. Like after he
Let's
came
not
out.
go there.
Yeah.
Let's keep that out of this. Well, all right, but no, yeah.
That's just me. Like, I just don't want to bring trans politics into the world. That would
Yeah,
be
let's-
exhausting.
I wasn't even trying to make it go there.
Anyways, okay, so there's two more people that's still awake. One is sitting right next to the guy who fell asleep, and the other guy is actually standing, pretty much supervising the field.
The other guy isn't supervising the field as a whole. He's supervising just whatever's going on with this guy in this circle of red rocks. He's just watching that. Seems to be his focus.
As we're standing kind of around this machine, I'm gonna go. Okay, we gotta think. Even though that magic user seems to be preoccupied with him, he's gonna be the harder thing. We'll keep the guy who was asleep.
Okay.
I'll try to take care of the other one. We also got to figure out, could I look to see, at least figure out, like, we can see out of the darkness, right? Like out of where it came from, or is it like a darkness dome? Or
You can see out of it.
Okay, so would we have been able to see where those others went off? Because I'm gonna guess they didn't.
From where you could see, because it's still the machines haven't done a finished clearing here, so those guys walked into the woods and just kind of disappeared off to your what is now your right.
Okay. All right. So, well, okay. So one of us is gonna have to try to sneak around and deal with the lightning, the mage, and maybe I want to. Akmite's gonna try to take a look at the person who's seemingly in distress and kind of like see if he's the druid that we're looking for.
Roll me a knowledge check as you look up at this guy. He's visible. He's plainly visible.
Yeah. So, and Nate, a knowledge.
Just intelligence. Sorry, just roll me straight intelligence.
Okay. Yo. 17.
This is that is definitely a druid. He seems to be unable to do anything. He's kind of like he's trapped there, but it's definitely a druid.
Is he the druid though?
He is a druid. He's in pain.
There's only one druid that we know around here. We need to free him.
Yes.
I have an idea, Akmite. I can take care of the magic user, but it requires me to do something.
Okay.
What's that?
I have not used it yet. It's a new spell I learned last time we trained called Bestow Curse. There's a curse I know, and it's actually interesting. I had two of them that might be good for this situation. One of them, don't laugh, but it's called Curse of Butterfly Attraction. Pretty much butterflies swim around out of the person out of nowhere, flocking around it, rendering them unable to do anything. Another one is Curse of Ineptitude. Half the time, they simply fail to accomplish whatever it is they try to do, even walking.
I think that ineptness might be more useful situation than butterflies.
Hey, it may be a silly one, but those butterflies keep it from doing anything.
Yeah, I'd say if we can possibly. And then Ekmite kind of remembers, man, I wish we had those moths from that one place. Sew his mouth shut.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yes, but yeah, say if we can at least get him to not be able to move or anything, that might be a bit better, and I can rush along with Teltix, the other would-be guard over there, and knock him out.
DM's approval, I will cast Bestow Curse on that magic user.
Okay, you're going to have to move a little bit so that you can get in a better position, because the way you're kind of angling to see out of this, you can't do your spell, so you'll have to go to the other side of the machine. You won't need a stealth check. You can just walk over there. I'm just letting you know for...
just take a movement. Okay.
Not even take a movement. I'm just letting you know for GP that you have to move away from those two a little bit to do it.
Okay, gotcha. I move over there, get in position, and then
Bestow Curse.
Cast Bestow Curse.
That is a wisdom save.
Yep.
All right. Culture.
If it goes through, then or if he fails the wisdom save, then he will be swarmed with butterflies and can't do anything.
Okay. Are you doing butterflies or the ineptness? Just to clarify.
Yeah.
Butterflies.
Okay. I was gonna.
What?
I was just gonna say that ineptness might be more useful when to rush him, because then he won't be able to defend himself very well.
Well, the ineptitude half the time he can't do anything. Whereas butterflies, it encases them in swarm butterflies, he can't do anything.
All right, but maybe I don't want to kill butterflies to get to him.
Well,
I'm
we don't have
casting I'm casting it. I casted butterflies, so hush.
Okay.
Oh.
You two have a conversation, and Draven's like, "Damn it, I'm doing this." What is your spell save DC?
Oh, I haven't even used this yet. Where's it at?
It's in your. So go to your spell tab, and it's at the top. It's a spell save DC. Yeah.
11.
Okay, he got a 10, so he fails by 1. He is swarmed out of nowhere by fucking butterflies. And he begins to like swat at him, like, what the fuck? And the other guard just starts chuckling and pointing at him, like,
And as that's happening, I have my club out because I'm gonna.
Give me 1 second, real quick, before you go that.
Okay.
I'm rolling a dex save for the guy who's up there. Oh, he keeps his footing. Okay, so he's just like covered in butterflies and like swatting at him. I'm like, what the hell? I want to make sure he didn't fall off the hill or anything. Go ahead, club.
Yeah, I was gonna. Akmite's gonna take his club, and he's like, is the guy who's asleep in front of us?
The guy who's asleep is closer to the other side of the machine where Draven is casting from. So
Okay.
when you come around, the guy who's awake will be like right next to you.
Okay, so he wouldn't be looking my way when I go to.
Now he's looking in the exact opposite direction of you.
Okay, yeah. So Akmite's gonna go and like try to stun him, like hit him with the club and stun him. So I'm gonna roll the hit with the club, like
Okay.
basically gonna do subdue damage.
Okay.
Club, here we go. 19. That's
That hits.
Good.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll damage.
all right. And this is subdue, so 8.
All right. So he's at. It doesn't kill him, but he gets a welt, and I'm going to roll a Constitution saving throw for him to see if he stays awake, just because I think it would be funny for you to knock him cold.
Yeah.
Where's he at? He is this one. And I'm going to say DC of 15. Oh, he thunks right on the ground. You hit him in the head, he's just doink. All right, so you've now got 2 unconscious people.
Okay. I'm gonna tell Teltix wrap them both up, and as that's happening, I'm gonna try to make my way to the, while also looking just in case there are more guards. Make my way to the magic user and try to also stun him because he's kind of like enveloped by those.
All right, Teltix, are you just like chilling and watching?
Yeah, I go over and start tying them up.
Okay.
So I assume that's a dexterity or something.
They're both unconscious, so roll me survival to see how well your knot tying skills are.
Oh,
quick.
okay.
You are really good at this, and you have them hog-tied like it's nothing. Draven, you see Akmite kind of creep around the corner towards the guy with the butterflies. And he's going to get a perception check real fast to see if he even notices Akmite walking up.
Okay.
Which is... -2. He has a -2 because he's fucking busy right now. Roll me a stealth real fast, Akmite, against his perception.
All right.
You have advantage on this because everything going on.
All right. 15.
He's swatting at butterflies and is like, who are you? Who are you? He can't see you perfectly, but he can tell you're there. He sees a figure. He's like, who are you?
He's still swatting. And
Yeah, he's trying to get these butterflies off him.
By butterfly.
Oh, hey. I go, hey, mate, I've come to relieve you. You won't help with that.
Relief? There's no relief for me. I'm the only one. I'm the only caster out in the woods.
Oh,
He's speaking.
Granted, this is a constant curse, so
He's
this
talking,
They
but the butterflies are like all around and he can't really see.
they were able to find one. They probably forgot to tell you when they switched out those two men over there. The two guys over there. But yeah, if you just tell me how you like, what spell was it again?
Hey, he looks at you.
As I get closer and closer with my freaking hammer, because he can't really tell. He can't see it.
Roll persuasion because he can roll deception rather. He's going
Okay,
to roll
deception.
insight because he.
Can I
he can't-
stealthily walk behind the guy?
Oh yeah,
in butterflies.
if you want to go ahead and roll stealth Celtics.
Sit. It would be
It's a 6, yeah.
6.
Because he can't see.
Like, how close am I? How close is he?
Hold on a second here. He's like no, and as you're doing this, Celtics is able to creep around the back, and now so you guys are flanking him now. He tries to grab at something at his hip. He tries to grab at a dagger. He's like, I don't know who you are, but no, you're definitely not one of mine. He tries to pull out his dagger, but the butterflies keep there's so many butterflies that he actually can't get his dagger up.
I pull out my sickle and just thwap him with the pommel of the hand
All right, roll to hit.
for subdue damage.
Okay.
Da-da.
just for sake of argument, these are monarch butterflies.
Okay.
Okay.
18,
In case anybody
19.
was curious, they're monarchs, so they're big and orange.
He collapses as well. Roll the damage on the sickle though, just out of curiosity, but he collapses.
All right. There.
Okay. I'll make it bludgeoning subdue
Oh.
damage for this.
Oh crap! I pressed the back button.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I'm gonna go over and free the druid.
Hold on a second on that. I'm gonna give you guys what this looks like. And these two are tied up.
Okay.
I'm going to move this over.
And I just take some of the rope out of my stuff and tie up the guy and
roll
kind of,
me survival for your knot checks.
okay. And was also gonna do some like a gag because he's a spell person. He's probably gonna try that. So
Right.
survivor.
You,
8.
you can't get a knot worth the life of you.
Ah.
You're tying and you just slip. You just it keeps unknotting. Draven, you should have control of your token if you want to move it over there now.
Yeah. Okay, so 3.
The red squares, by the way, that are on the map are the machines.
Okay.
Okay.
So I don't have any art for them, so they're just red squares.
There we go.
I don't know if you can see it. So the guy that I'm right next to, that black figure, is that the druid?
No, the black one is Akmite.
Yeah.
Oh.
that's
The
me.
druid is in the center of this very colorful circle up here with the little red stones around it.
Gotcha. Okay.
As you
okay,
approach,
so
you can see that it's some sort of ritual circle.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
So
about
started
to
out
ask.
up here.
Would that spell dissipate since the cat,
Alright.
since this spellcaster has been knocked out, or
You see him
Is he
go
still-
down, but the spell doesn't stop. Whatever's doing this isn't reliant on him anymore, or whoever started it. You can all, once you can actually see this thing, though, roll me a Arcana knowledge check in this case, or an Arcana check, to see if you recognize what this is.
yeah, okay. And as we're kind of looking this natural one, but as we're looking this over, I'm gonna still funneling over that knot. Maybe can I try tying him up again?
Yeah, you can roll another survival check and try and do better.
Okay. Yeah, you guys look at that. I'm gonna try tying this guy up better. 20.
That time you're just like, all right, deep breath. Let me not get embarrassed in front of these two that I can't even tie a knot, and you get him all tied up proper.
All right. Put
Uh,
a gag in his mouth.
Teltix and Draven, you both walk up and you both immediately know what this is. For very different reasons. Draven, you've seen these in some of the books you've read. Don't step on them. I'm going to tell you that your knowledge immediately tells you not to touch it.
Okay.
just before you move your token and do something really stupid that your character knows better than them to do. Both of you know that this is a special infernal magic. It's a seal that it's designed to sap the magic out of spellcasters. There's a divine version of this that was bastardized by demons to make this infernal version. And basically, it runs off of the power of the infernal. Which you both know is what those stones would have to be. Is some sort of like infernal energy has to be in them, and after it absorbs so much energy, it becomes self-sufficient. The caster locked in the center becomes basically they constantly get their own magic back, and then that magic gets pulled out of them into the crystals, which then absorb the magic. It's usually used as a battery of sorts, or a storage, as a way to store large quantities of magic. Or as a prison for for non-infernal beings and non-celestial beings.
Do these stones have to work together? Like, if we destroy one, will it stop the cycle?
Yes. However, you also know that if anything of great infernal energy touches them while they're still active like this, while the seal's still there, basically anything stronger than like an imp, so a tiefling, an actual demon, a devil, anything like that, it'll short circuit the whole thing and kill that infernal entity. And that's why you don't use these to hold infernals, because most demons and stuff will just respawn in hell after they die.
Yeah,
so they would just blow themselves up.
Teltix, I'm going to say this to you now. No touchy.
All right, while you're figuring this shit out, I'm going to search these guys and just disarm them, take any valuables they have, shit like that.
All right. You roll investigation on their bodies, and then Draven, you know that the only way to stop this is to either have a high level spellcaster, such as like your mistress, or a decently powerful cleric or paladin can dispel it with certain magics.
From what I know of Akmite, would I know if he has anything like that? Or
you know he's a paladin, but you would have to ask him if he has anything to dispel magic with.
Gotcha. Akmite, do you have anything powerful enough to dispel magic with, in your knowledge or on person?
It would be if you have like a dispel spell of any kind is about what you're looking for. While you two are doing that, Teltix, you find a scimitar,
Ooh,
two daggers,
fuck yeah, finally,
and a ring that is on the guy on your right finger, and on the other guy, oops, that's not him. On the other guy, you find a mace and a crossbow, a big crossbow too.
I'm just looking through the my handbook right now, because I know I've only got level 1 spells right at the moment, so I'd probably say, and I've looked at the spells, and the spell magic is not on there. At least for first levels. Third level is spell magic, and I don't have that. So I turned to him when he asked and say, not now. I'm kind of just in the start of magic. Kelki was helping me out with learning more, but I haven't gotten to that yet.
The only other option that you can think of, Draven, is if no one can dispel it, you might be able to destroy one of the crystals, but you didn't roll high enough to know how well that would work.
Well, I'm going to attempt to roll magic missile on the closest stone to me.
Okay.
So all 3 missiles will hit it at once.
They go and they hit it, And you, it just ting, 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 real hit, and you see like a small crack, but it doesn't seem to defunction it yet. The crystal's still together. It's just starting to crack a little bit.
It's just weakening.
Yeah, and like a black ichor, not ichor, but like a kind of a gentle black smoke is kind of coming out of the crack, real thin and wispy.
Well, that is a cantrip, so I can use that multiple times.
Magic missile's level 1 spell. Pretty sure.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Let me look here.
What is he?
Yeah, magic missile's level 1 spell.
It is. Okay. Okay, so of my knowledge of these stones, first of all, do they have to be in sequence? Like, do they have to be a certain distance from each other for it to work? Like, if I was to remove it with Mage Hand, would it stop the sequence, or would it...
You do know that they have to be like actually a part of the thing, otherwise they'll dissipate. Otherwise it'll dissipate. Yeah.
Can I tell how heavy they are?
You know from your knowledge of the spell that that if you're using jewels like this, that they're normally really light.
All right, can I just use? Then I will. Is it somebody else's turn, or can I keep going?
I was going to see what Akmite and Teldrix were doing real quick.
Okay.
Akmite.
Akmite's going to take the mage user, bring him over to the. Why am I on that? Bring him over to the other two and kind of actually bring them to the other side of the machine to kind of hide them away and stuff. And
so put them kind of behind it, where you guys came out of. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll move their tokens over there for you then, if you want to move your token back there.
Yeah. And I'm also gonna, as I'm doing that, kind of roll perception check to hear. Like, I know it's very loud, so it'll probably be with the disadvantage, but hear for anyone else coming.
Okay.
Like, so almost hit performance.
You don't hear anything. Just the whirring.
I'm like right next to that machine, so it's like
right. You're actually like stepping over the axe as it's doing its thing. Right now, you're like standing literally right next to the axe.
All right. But yeah, probably not a good idea. But I'll like kind of, even though it would be just.
I get you. You're like standing there watching them from that side.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand and kind of watch.
Okay.
Still watch them, but also make sure my friends, like, if anything comes, I can, go get them.
The tree that thing's cutting actually falls, and then it just sits there. It doesn't move on its own. So you can probably infer that it needs to be moved in order to continue, but it just kind of like sits there with this tree falling.
Yeah. I turn to the other guys and say, if we can get that thing done quickly so we can finish these off.
I'm working on it.
I want to get this guy back up and running. I go and hand to Teltix when Draven or you guys get that barrier down, I hand them hand them 3 just standard health potions.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that we got from the mission, or before it was when we came back from that last portal one.
All right.
But
In
yeah.
return, I hand him the mace that I found. I think you'll find more use in this than I will.
Yeah, that could definitely work.
I'll give you the stats for all that after we get done, by the way.
Okay.
All right.
So,
While they're talking, I'm going to move over here, and I'm going to use Mage Hand on this stone here, pick it up, and move it out of the circle.
You go to make a Mage Hand, it goes in, and it goes to touch the stone, and it gets just obliterated by the magical current they've got running around.
Son of a bitch. Okay. Plan B. Back to the stone I was at.
Real quick, can I ask? Would I know if, since you said that if if a tiefling were to touch it, short circuit and kill me, would it dispel the magic, or?
If you were to touch it, it would
Mm-hmm.
it would basically cause a short circuit equivalent of an arc flash
Mm-hmm.
through your body.
Mm-hmm.
It would destroy the magic entirely, but then you would explode into a million pieces yourself.
I see.
It would be it would probably also kill anything around you if it wasn't taking cover,
Ah,
like a bomb going
Okay.
off.
never mind then.
No suiciding out.
Not yet. Moving on.
All right. Well, guess I'll use another spell slot of magic missile again on the original stone I was firing at.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
also toss at Draven the ring that I found. See if you can figure out what this thing is.
Okay.
You catch it. You can roll Arcana on it to see if you know what it is, because you can feel magic coming from it.
Okay.
I have identify as a spell, but I don't use
Oh.
the spell slot.
All right, yeah, either Arcana.
Well, I mean, if you have you probably don't have the materials for ritual casting, but that would take a while. What I'm gonna ask, Akmite's gonna ask, while pulling on that. I know I don't have the stats for it, but okay, his sword. He's gonna pull out his sword and go, because I want to use the mace. Could I just drag and drop a mace into my thing?
Yeah, you can just drag and
Like-
drop a mace into your character sheet. That'll give you the stats
Yeah.
too. While you're doing that, Draven, you know that this is the moment the ring touches your hand, you notice two very distinct things about it. One, it's got a symbol on it that your father tends to wear a lot. He has your father has this medallion that he wears that has the same symbol of like a brass whip, almost like a brass flog, almost actually.
Mhm.
Which I'll drop in the chat here in a little bit. But that's the first thing you notice, and then where did the information on the actual ring go? And then you actually notice what kind of ring it is. What the?
Okay. I was gonna. Why is it?
Things aren't loading for me
This is-
either right now. Which one is being weird?
Yeah.
There we go. You know, real quick for Draven, that ring is an infernal. It's called an infernal ring, and basically, as a reaction, you can when something attacks someone wearing that, it can be used to deflect the attack onto the attack will hit you, and then the ring's magic will take in that attack and attack one of your allies with it instead.
Oh Jesus!
It's a very selfish It's a very selfish defensive tool. Your father actually wears one of these with the same symbol on it as well.
Yeah, figures.
And then Akmite, what were you saying?
I was gonna say that he says he asks if you could just use the mace that they got to like destroy this thing. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna add this new base in there because that one I don't know why. I added the one that had +1. Whatever. All right. So, yeah, but I was gonna just sit there and go like, could I just hit one of these things with this mace and destroy it instead of?
Well, I've already weakened one of these stones.
Yeah, I mean,
Possibility.
yeah. If would it do anything? Like, would it hurt me or hurt any of us if I were to hit it?
None of you know for sure.
As a paladin, you may have some inept ability to do this with that club. It wouldn't hurt to try. I just know that Celtics, being infernal, cannot touch it whatsoever.
Okay.
We can't use magic on it. Like I tried to mage hand it, it just dissipated. So magic missile did it. That was a magical blunt instrument or missile. So quite possibly, I'd give it a go.
Yeah.
I don't see any harm in doing that other than to the stone. So hit the stone I already hit. You can see the cracks and little smoke coming out of it. Go and hit that thing and see what it does.
Yeah, Ekmite's gonna go over, kind of clutch his little pendant of dribs, and kind of go, like, basically pray not to die again, just to, like, he wants to help save someone, but he doesn't want to die just to do it. Well, at least now. But he's gonna go for a swing.
All right.
He shouldn't.
Are you going to?
afford-
Okay. You don't need to worry about rolling to hit for this. It's a there's a word for it, but you hit it. Yeah, just fine.
Just all right.
Inanimate
5
object.
Yeah.
5 damage.
You,
Wasn't gonna cast any sort of. Should have, but I'll just leave it at that because I don't know if Divine Smite would even do it.
you take your mace and you whack it, and it reverberates. It doesn't like the stone doesn't even like phase. It just the whole mace reverberates up your arm. You can feel it like shaking in your shoulder for a second. Picture like Daffy Duck hitting something and like his whole body just shakes for a second.
And there's no visible. Is there any visible damage or no?
Just what Draven had already done to it.
All right.
No, he goes. Wait, I call. Would my
Holy crap.
I'm going to cast. Where's shit? I pulled my character sheet away for a second there. All right, put that back. Expand that. I'm going to cast the burning smite, the searing smite, because that lasts a bit longer. I don't even know if I have this. I have to go over my tab. Okay, I'm gonna click it.
Okay.
Wait, did it show up?
If you're
No.
clicking a spell, close your character sheet. Behind it, it'll say what level spell slot you want to click. You want to cast it at if it's a spell.
Oh. Shit.
Just cast it where it's at because it'll go no lower than your lowest level spell slot.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm in the spell thing. I don't remember if I. No, I only got Divine Smite in that, and that doesn't. Let's try it again. No, it's saying that something's popping up. Dang it.
Here, let me look at your character sheet real quick.
Yeah, because I'm trying to do the searing smite,
Close
which
that.
is.
Huh. Odd. Looks like it might be broken for some reason. Let me, because there's no reason it shouldn't cast. Yeah, it's just not. It's not casting for some reason. Okay.
That's
Next time you hit a creature with a melee weapon, during the spell, your weapon flames with white hot intensity, and causes
Thanks.
fire damage. Okay.
okay. Yeah.
All right.
Something I guess we gotta work on later. But okay, I'm gonna go at it again with the club, but this time have that, and that's like a minute. So
The mace. You're hitting with the mace or the club?
the mace.
All right. The mace
What-
is like burning as you swing it this time. Then.
Yeah. So I go to swing, even though
Yeah.
just to do natural 20.
As you do, it's on fire, and then for a brief moment, you feel a wave of drowsiness pass through you. which immediately fades, and your weapon glows even brighter, as though by some holy light, as you smash into this crystal. And this time, instead of you shaking, the crystal just turns to dust underneath the mace.
Okay, so. Alright.
As you pull
Gotta
it back.
move that back over.
As you
Nice, good going, Akmai. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And yep. As you do that, the
Alright.
that goes away. Ignore that the
Yeah.
rubies are still there.
Wait, the rubies?
Yeah, but they're individual little red rubies, and I don't feel like going around and deleting them as they all like pop and explode everywhere. They're not like kaboom, but they're just like psh, they shatter basically.
Damn.
All of them do.
Yeah, they all shatter.
Do they leave ruby shards?
They do, but they're like really small. Be like picking up glass, really
Okay.
tiny glass shards, like fiberglass. You know, like the little pieces
Fine.
of glass that are in fiberglass.
Fine, take the rubies away from us. Jeez.
You're the one who chose to destroy them.
Well,
I
what else was
tried
there to
every
do?
other thing.
We didn't try getting the people who made them the spell thing to dispel it.
One step at a time. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, so the druid,
I just-
the druid is released.
He's unconscious, but yes, the
Mm.
energies aren't being flown from it. And as that shatters, you watch as every single machine in the area just stops.
Okay, as Akmite walks over to the druid, safe, correct? He's gonna walk over and kind of do a check on him. Is there any what?
I was rolling for something. Don't worry about it.
And as he's doing that, he's going to roll a perception check since all the noise is gone.
All right.
And so I'm gonna roll perception. 18.
You hear something like footsteps running, almost away from the area,
Running away?
as though something's running away from the area. Yeah,
Okay.
but you don't see what it is yet.
I'm gonna ask one of you guys go check the people we put tied up to make sure that they're still there. But I'm going to also roll a medicine check to see how he is. I know he said he was unconscious, but I just want to see how badly his condition is, like how and stuff.
Alright,
So
Go ahead and roll medical.
19.
He's fine. He's just like his magic is drained, which you know happens to any spellcaster who uses their magic a lot. In this case, it looks like his magic's just drained. He's just tired and whatnot. But other than that, he's fine. He'll come back to himself. You'd probably just have to like wake him up somehow. He's not even injured. Teltix, the spellcaster is gone when you get over there.
That curse was continuous.
Guys, one of them is gone.
Which one?
The spellcaster.
That curse was continuous. Like those butterflies should render him to do anything. The only way to remove that is with a remove curse.
He's a spellcaster. He might know remove curse.
And I tied those things up pretty tight, so I don't know how he could have used. Wait, yeah.
Teltix, you want to roll me perception real quick or investigation, either one, while you're over there?
Sure. Give me one moment. Investigation, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Da.
I suppose one of us should have
Click.
stood guard with these three.
Click.
Yeah.
There.
It was my fault. I was the one who was going back over.
Teltix, you notice the rope is on the ground. It's been clearly cut, and you can tell like there's like two different sets of footsteps that actually leave off in the direction. Like someone else was here for a minute along with him.
Guys, we might have company. Someone else is here.
Okay,
From
I'm
Convo.
gonna get this guy up. What should I roll or?
If you
Is
want to just
there-
wake him up, just roll another medical check to see if you can wake him up. He's not
Okay.
hurt at all. He's just unconscious.
Okay. 14.
Roll to slap.
Sir.
You wake him up and he shakes awake. Hey, oi, where am I? What happened? Oi.
Hey, it's all right, buddy. You seem to have been used to in a demonic ritual to power these machines, and I point to them. They used you to destroy your forest, by the looks of it. I turn. We've got a couple of the people still there, and I shout, "Bring!" Or like I tell them, "Bring those ones over if you can." I'm gonna wake
Alright.
one of them up, and
I start dragging them over.
All right, I'll
Alright.
move their things up here.
all right. And then I go and say, "Do you need any healing or anything like that?"
No, I'm good. I just, I can't feel the energy it's been drained from me. I can feel that it's been pulled out of me by force. It's
Yeah.
disorientating and exhausting.
Yeah.
Last I remember, there was two gentlemen, not these two gentlemen, approached me in the woods, and that was the last thing I remember. I remember beforehand the animals were going crazy. There was racket and noise, and then the two gentlemen just appeared in darkness. You said they've
Yeah.
been destroying the forest.
Yes. Most all but it seems like the willow trees that encompass the forest. From what we could gather, a Mr. Willow, an old man Willow, may have been the cause of this. I don't believe it was the person who put these. Might have been. I don't know.
He grabs his head. He's like, they wouldn't touch the willows. No one is that stupid. That would likely upset the Willow clan, as they planted them here. That would be foolish of anyone in the Empire. However, if they avoided them, Willow, why would he destroy the forest? He's like very confused now.
I think it's the. I don't know. Political stuff, I guess.
If
The one in charge, from what I could tell, the Willow in charge, I should say, is not a very kind man, unlike his
no,
father before him.
I've heard Lord Willow is very, very cruel and corrupt, but the fact if it was him, he's crossed a very, very steep line with the council and the empire.
Yes, I tend to report this to the people back at the city.
You have them bound, correct?
Yes, I have these two bound.
Wait,
We had the I was about to say we had the mage, but it seemed like one of their other compatriots got them and took them away.
in which case Lord Willow will know exactly if it was him, he will know what transpired here long before it can be reported. The chances are this will
Yes.
be, even if we could report this, it would be covered up before anything could be investigated.
Yes.
We have to find out what these two know. Can
Yes.
you wake the captain there up, the one with the weird headdress? He looks to be
Yes.
more formal.
I walked to.
You mean the
Whichever-
tiefling?
If you look at him, it's actually like some sort of like crown or something he's wearing. like some
Yeah,
sort of
which
helmet.
one is that? Is that the one in the middle or the one?
It's the one that Teltix is closest to. Yeah.
Okay, so I walk over and I do another medicine check. Is this the one I bonked, or is this the one
Yeah,
that
this
fell
is the
asleep?
one you bonked.
All right. So
Extreme
7.
bonkage.
You go to wake him up, and he's just like. You shake his mask off though, his little mask and helmet configuration. You can see that he's an elf underneath. The druid walks up beside you and is going to cast. Not cast. Sorry, he doesn't have any spell slots right now. He's just going to do a medical check as well. Try and wake up. He's like, let me try. Nope. He just like smacks him in the back of the head. And he
Look at my 2 other compatriots, or the tiefling right next to him. You think you could slap, wake him up at all, Celtics?
Sure, I go to punch him.
Okay. Roll medicine with disadvantage.
Okay.
That's one, he's dead.
We have fun here at the cleanup crew.
Yeah.
Medicine. Da, da, da.
You punch him, and he, fuck.
Real quick, I put my sickle under his chin so that it's hooking around his head, so that it's not, so that he's not gonna move.
He's hogtied. He can't really do anything. He's like,
So that's just overkill, but I'm gonna say, hey there, buddy. Do you remember this guy, the buddy you kept in stasis from when I looked like? He has some questions for you. And I walk over, I push over to the side to reveal the druid.
The druid steps over, and he looks at him real quick. He's like, "Who sent you here?" And the guard goes, "I won't say a word, not in my life." And the druid looks over at Teltix and like gives you like a head nod at the guy.
I put the edge of my sickle up closer to his throat. I'd highly advise you say something.
A small trickle of blood starts from one end of his neck. It doesn't like cut across, obviously, but just like the pointer end of the sickle is like poking into his neck. He's like, "No, kill me now. He'll just do worse."
I stand behind the druid. I say, "Move aside."
The druid looks back at you, shrugs, and steps aside.
Soldier, I command you. I, Draven of the House Willow, command you to tell me what on the green earth is going on here.
He gets very pale, and you notice that Teltix, when you searched earlier, you couldn't see this, but as Draven commands this, you notice a choker appears on his neck and begins to squeeze. And he's like, and like it begins to crush his throat. And he's like, "Here, I can't."
Can I quickly use the sickle to cut the choker off?
No, it's a magical choker.
Magic.
Yeah.
Speak, soldier. Tell us what we want to know.
He looks. He's like, "Your father." And the moment he like responds to your question, it releases. "Was your father?"
What of him?
"He's the one that sent us.
Why?
He made a deal with Glacius. If he destroyed this force, she would destroy his foes. I don't know the details. There was something in it about a child and a new heir, and
Who's Glacius?
Celtics, you can roll religion with advantage. The other two of you, just standard religion. Shit. Well,
I know this.
So Zach
21.
all of you know this. Glacius is a demon lordess.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, a devil lordess.
Mhm.
She commands her own circle of hell, of the infernal realm. And
Fun.
she is a patron to those of noble blood who seek to gain power through less than pure methods, so to speak. She's, to paraphrase, the patron of corrupt nobles.
Could Akmite realizes this and kind of thinks, could that have been what was happening in front of the town
With those hags?
with those hags? If they could have been patriarchs of this demon to
Well, from
possibly
what I-
summon it and have
You see,
our city get my city get destroyed.
you see the elf is like shaking his head, just like, "You've got it wrong, boy." And then the moment he says that, the Joker begins to choke him again. He's like, "Shit."
Tell us what you know.
And he goes to answer command and it releases again. He's like, "Bloody hell, I don't think your father expected there to be another of the bloodline asking us questions with these chokers on. Thank God he didn't key him only to himself."
I need to get one of these chokers. Can I have that when you're done with it?
He looks at you
Uh,
strangely before going to answer Draven's question as the choker begins to choke him for not answering.
I think that is a yes.
Your father would never. His father would never have hired on hags. And he stops. And he's like, "All I know is that in exchange for the destruction of this forest, save for the willow trees planted by his own house, which was apparently some part of the deal, he was to be given some great power, something to do with a new child and a new heir, born of volcano and ash. I don't know much more than that. I swear, if I were lying to you, the choker would kill me in an instant."
What is the purpose of the trees?
He looks around. All I know about him was your father was using them as additional income on the side, as sort of a secondary boon of the situation. But from what I know, this is just something Glacius wanted done. That's all we were told.
Do you know why she wanted this done?
No, I don't.
No, he
And
wouldn't know.
His
orders come straight from my father.
He nods at
and
the
he
ring in your hand. He's like, "We follow her, but we don't commune with her." And then you do your thing.
Yeah, he wouldn't know. His orders come straight down from my father, and he's secretive enough as it is. The only thing he'd tell him is what to do and where to go. A new heir. He must be really upset with me. No matter.
It's said that he wishes to replace you. Yes.
Well, there's only one way to replace me.
He'd have to kill you. He needs your blood.
It's really hard to replace a dumbass this powerful.
I just go. So he's just using. He would be. So that's why he grabbed you on that cliff.
But if he would have killed him, who would have done it at the cage? I guess he's waiting for a certain time.
Besides, if he wanted to kill him, he wouldn't have left us as witness.
Soldier, what's your name?
He sighs. I was raised a slave. I have no name. I was merely called boy or soldier. I have never been given a proper name.
And how old are you now?
And he stops and he's like, "It has been 10 cycles since my earliest memories." This man has gone equivalent to 40 years without a name.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to make you a deal.
He's like, he looks at you. Anything's better than what your father has me doing. Too much blood. And he kind of rubs the choker. Too much. Too much. Too much.
I am not my father, nor will I ever be anything like him. Yes, I have the memories and the teachings to be like him, but I am nothing like him. I'm willing to grant you freedom if travel with us, help me overthrow my father. Then after that is said and done, live your life.
I cannot act against him so long as I wear this choker. Even under your orders, any act against you would, either of you would kill me. So long as this choker remains on, I can never be free of your father. I have worn it since my earliest memories. I recall watching you grow from the shadows, being locked in the dungeons beneath your father's home, forced to do his dirty work.
Have if I can do a history check, can I see if I learned how to remove one of those collars?
You can do a history check to see if at any point in your life you were taught how to remove these slave collars rather. You don't. You remember seeing them on some of your father's servants, especially the human servants, but he never explained to you how to remove them.
May I make a suggestion? You know how to identify magical items, don't you?
I do.
Well, what if you were to identify the magic used in the choker and see if the information includes a way to remove it?
or Beckman says, or we could possibly bring these two with us to the city and ask if anyone would know how to remove them. I understand it would probably.
It'd be no good. As soon as they went against their orders, and as soon as they leave this site, they're all killed or going against them here and monitoring everything. So we need to figure out this now, either to kill them now or devise a way to remove those collars and bring them with us. Either way, their life is in our hands for the moment.
The druid kind of interrupts you both and asks him. Well, he asked you. Ask him what he knows of his fellow here. If his fellow's in the same boat or what. He asked Draven so you can relay it because he can't ask him directly without choking him.
I'll relay
it.
Soldier, do you know of your companion here? What is his story? Is he a slave like you?
He wears the collar as well as all who work with your father have. However, he is no slave. He is paid quite handsomely for his services. He came into this life by choice. He enjoyed the sharpening of the axe with a man's throat.
Does anyone have any objections if I kill him?
The druid's not saying anything.
Agmai just turns, doesn't really say anything. He doesn't like it, but if that man's a sellsword and is willing to take coin for blood, he doesn't like it. So he's just gonna kind of walk away a bit, maybe, and kind of wave his hand.
The druid, when you turn around, the druid picks out his quarterstaff, puts it up to the guy's throat, kind of like rolls him on the ground and just sticks it through his throat. Hold on, David. Anson, you're tearing up real bad. Like, I can't hear you.
I have.
Say again?
You got me?
You were gone.
I wasn't talking. I was listening.
Yeah.
I heard everything that was going on. Can you get me
that
now?
was weird.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
It sounded like you were
It-
just like talking in robot tongue for a while there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
druid was about to puncture this guy's throat.
Oh, I heard all that bit.
I was gonna say if I cut off his head, I could probably get the collar off, and we could go into town and see if we can find any it, figure out how to get it off.
The druid hears that before he goes through with it, and he pulls back. And he's like, "I'll do it. Give me the sickle."
I toss him my sickle.
He takes it and lops the guy's head off. He's like,
Perfect.
he just throws it in the woods, and as he does, he whistles, and like a bear comes out of what's left of the woods and just grabs the head and runs off with it.
He just
Well,
runs
that just
away.
happened.
He hands you the
Someone's eating happy tonight.
he hands you your sickle back, and the collar has come loose now. Obviously, it's just laying there, this thick black collar, and he hands it to Draven. Best you hold this. Don't know how it would affect the rest of us. I don't want to hold it for very long.
Very well. I take the collar.
As you grab it, you recognize the willow symbol smack dab on it.
Mm-hmm. I want to try something. Just take a try. The soldier is still standing there. I go and touch his collar
Okay.
just to see what happens.
It glows under your touch, and that's about it. And he kind of like looks down at
That's
your
it.
finger real nervously.
I gotcha. Being brought up as a slave is not a life worth craving. I am sorry for all you have done, for all you've had to do in the name of my despicable father. There was a way for me to take this collar off. Would you want to join us?
He just nods gently.
And even if you don't want to, I could. I've got contacts in the city that could help you.
I have an
Yeah.
idea. It's just an idea. But what if we were to knock him out and then bring him into the city? He technically would not be disobeying his father's orders because it would be out of his control.
True.
He rubs the back of his head and he's like, where there's like a
It-
swell from the last time he got hit.
Usually
Yeah.
with magic like this, there is a lot of technicalities.
This is true.
Yes.
What say you, soldier?
Can you make it not hurt so much this time?
I'll be gentle.
No, I go. I look at Draven. You think you can help me out with one more spell? Like
I can.
basically, he wants to dual sleep spell on him again. See if that puts him out. We're gonna try something.
Sleep
'cause-
only lasts for a minute.
Ah, crap. Well, never mind then. Dang. So, getting knocked unconscious is better than whatever that is. But all right, so okay, let's try to knock him unconscious. How do we do it?
Before we do that, this person has been raised as a slave without a name for over 10 cycles. Since he was born, he was a slave with no name.
Mm-hmm.
Draven looks over at the soldier, kneels down. From now on, no longer boy, slave, or soldier. You have a name. And that name, I gotta think of one. Crap.
Why don't we let him
Oh,
choose his name? It's his life.
You never know. Well, okay.
So, buddy here's got the fucking book with names in.
Roll for name.
Somebody's really far away from the mic.
Sorry, I was trying to grab my books.
The guy looks at Draven like he wants to say something, but he can't.
You wish to say something?
I cannot. I would love to choose my own name. However, so long as I wear this collar, I cannot give myself as such. I have tried before, and it was very painful.
Do you wish to choose your own name?
It would be preferable. However, I would have to have this removed first.
Okay.
Well, and that's solved. We will knock you out, take you back into town, figure out a way to take this collar off, and go from there. Deal?
I would be much obliged. And the
All right.
druid steps forth, and he's like, before you whack him with your toys, the forest can provide for you. It's still enough of it left. And he walks up to one of the trees that's still standing. He's like, we have lost much. I can feel the forest's pain. I can see the emptiness. And he doesn't have any druid spells left, but he's just talking with the forest through his innate druidism.
Yep.
And a deer, like 3 or 4 deer, come walking out of the deeper part of the woods with bushels on their heads, thick bushes, and they walk forward, and he goes and he starts picking the fruit from these bushes, and he grabs a stone from the ground and then another one, and he grinds together a little bit of a liquid, which he then he looks at you. Give me a water pouch or something to store this in.
I toss in my water skin.
Does it have water in it?
It should.
All right, he pours out your water. He pours out your water, and he's...
I said Mike was gonna sit there and drink his and then give it. But...
He starts, like, he does this multiple times with these berries because he doesn't have a cup or a mortar rather. So as he crushes, he has to like lean it over so the berry just drains off into the water bag until you notice he's got maybe about a quarter of a water sack full, and then he caps it. Have him drink this. Have him drink this. It will render him unconscious for the next 24 hours.
Hey, that works. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. So I'll go over to the soldier. Like, all right, found a way to make you unconscious without hurting you. This druid has made a concoction to put you to sleep for about 24 hours. Is this sufficient?
So long as you do not untie my bands, I cannot control my body if you do.
Very well. You will remain tied up until we deem worthy to, or till we find a way to get this collar off. In the meantime, sweet dreams.
You
Glug,
pour it
glug,
down
glug.
All right, he collapses. Just glug, 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 on the ground.
Now that's taken care of, I look over the druid. Nicole and the other villagers have been extremely worried about you. Would you care to accompany us back, or would you want to attend to the forest? But if you want to attend to forest, that's okay. But just be on your guard.
He says, "No, we should all go and let them know what has happened here. That way they can be on their guard as well." And he whistles again, and I'm not going to put tokens on the board because it's too much work. And 4 big black bears come out, and he pets one. He's like, "Climb on," and he climbs himself on top of one of these black bears.
I take it that these are our rides?
He nods. Don't worry about them. They're so long as you're with me, they'll let you on.
All right.
Okay.
I cautiously hop on.
The bear kind of like.
So, where's the unconscious guy right now? Is he with the druid or?
He's kind of like standing between the 3 of you, but he has one of the bear that the druid's on like grabs the ropes and picks them up, so he's like it's holding the ropes.
I was gonna just like basically pick him up, huff him over my shoulder, and go into one of the bears, so the bear's not like encumbered with having to hold that guy and
All right.
also carry. So I'll just hold him, and kind of.
Yeah, you go over there and you reach your arms out for the guy, and the bear drops him in your arms for you, and you're able to hold him and climb your bear if that's what you're aiming for.
Yep. God damn it! Come on.
You okay?
Yes, I'm rolling. I'm rolling because I have the book of the Xanathar's Guide,
Are you
and I
rolling
have the
names?
name. Yes, I'm rolling names.
He's
At least
choosing
first.
his own name. Leave him alone.
He's choosing his own name, but I will have to roll. I will have to give him a name eventually. So,
Yeah.
That's 32.
and then Draven, are you going to climb on one of these bears? Or are you pensive and stoic right now?
No, I'm climbing on one of the bears. We're getting back to town.
All right. You guys climb the bear, and I'm going to remove this scene now. Back to the map, and y'all, with the power of these big bears, just hoof it back through the woods and through the clearing, and you watch the druid like grasps his chest as he comes into the big clearing, and he just like holds his chest and begins to weep quietly, and you're just. It takes moments for you to just storm across, and you all ride into town upon these bears, triumphantly in a way.
Please tell me people are screaming at the sight of bears.
They turn and you see Nicole like, and then she notices the druid and she's like, oh, it's you. And she runs over and like gives him a hug. I'm like, oh, I thought you were gone. The pendant showed you were still alive, but I'm so worried. And he calm. He's like, go get the mayor, grab the dwarves, and I will explain what has happened. And she, of course, and she goes and she pounds on the mayor's door. Mayor Wilson. And while that's going on in the background, and she starts gathering everybody up, you see this elf walks out. It doesn't look like you at all, by the way, Draven. This elf that walks out.
That's good.
He's much darker in skin tone, almost a purple.
So Akmai would go on. Drow.
And he steps out, and the dwarven family comes out, and they tell their child to like stay inside, dear. And you watch like the dwarven woman you saw earlier walks out, and then this like darker skinned dwarf walks out with her. As a Dugar, an underground dwarf, basically. And they're all like in the middle of town, and he goes over and begins to explain the situation, what's happened and whatnot. If you all want to have any chimes in, he just starts telling them, I was captured in the woods by some men, and they would begin to cut down the trees for purposes we do not know. He kind of like waves his hand behind his back at you to stay quiet for a moment. We don't know why, most likely for profit. We're not sure who they're working for, however, they did mention that they had some sort of boss. We have one held captive here, and he looks back at Akmite. These folk are going to take back to the city for interrogation. They will probably have compatriots, so I will set some of the animals to guard you and watch over the houses. And we'll have to stand guard until we can assure that these men are gone for good. I'm sorry for worrying you all. And Mayor Wilson's like, oh, I'm just glad to see you safe, my friend. And like gives him a kiss on the cheek and just holds him real tight. And the other three are just like nodding and just like, yes, glad to see you're okay, basically. He looks at you three. You have saved us. I am grateful for your assistance.
You are very welcome.
I'll see when we get to the city that we send assistance to help you with the recovery efforts of this forest. I feel like just having you might not be enough to fix the damage that's been done here by these people.
And the druid nods, and Mayor Wilson walks up. I have but one thing for you. He looks to the other three. Mayor of such a small little enclave like this. Are we all agreed that these three deserve some sort of reward for their efforts? And Nicole's like, of course. And the two dwarven folk are like just nodding and kind of like holding each other, looking around warily. And so Wilson kind of like, one moment, and he rushes off into his house, and he comes back with a small sack, and he's like, we don't have much. It's a small town. We don't have trade or anything, just the cabbage farm and what little stonework they get up to. Here, and he hands you a bag with 300 gold in it.
Oh, I thank you.
This is majority of the town's savings, but
I don't feel good about accepting this.
Yeah,
Being that this is all you have.
oh, we have another 100. We'll be fine. It's harvest season. The cabbages are coming in. We'll have we will be able to make our money back at market.
Akmite.
Not taking it. I'll take your share.
No, Akmite takes out 100, which would have been his, and gives it back, and like kind of in a smaller bag, gives it back, that 100 back, and says, "No, you keep a little bit more. I don't need it, but it's just to know that we were able to do a good cause. I understand what some of my my other compatriot might need money because it means that they need, but I think the money you gave us is a fair. This smaller amount might be a bit more fair. I'd rather not take everything but 100. Keep it maybe 50-50. Be a bit better. Will not use it, but it is still nice to have a gesture of any kind. You could have maybe given us a meal or two, but
And he looks at Nicole. Go. Could you and she nods and she runs off for a minute. And he just hands you the 100 gold. He's like, here then, just take this then, and Nicole will have something for you then. So he just gives you 100 gold, and he takes the rest back.
yeah.
And
Akmite then like turns and passes it to Celtics. There you go.
Thanks.
We're almost done. If something's happening, we're almost done here.
Yeah, I know.
The dwarf walks up to the three of you. If you ever need something built, anything at all, you give me a call. Free of charge on the first one. If you get yourself some land, you need something built. Oh, don't matter what it is. It does kind of. I can't do anything more than about 2-story. But if you need something built, you let me know. All right.
All right. To whom would I ask for?
Ask for Braveyard. Braveyard. The
Graveyard.
dwarf.
Gotcha.
Yep. Braveyard the dwarf. I'll make anything for you.
Is that with a J or with a Y?
With a Y.
Gotcha.
I'm good with stone and lumber mostly. Can't do much with metal.
Good to know.
And he goes back. He's like, thank you. And he goes back, and Nicole runs up behind you, and she has a what looks like some sort of magic container. And she's like, this is about 10 days worth of my cabbage stew. Should last you for a while. It's so long as you keep it in here, it'll be preserved.
Thank you.
Yum.
It's not like an awkwardly large pot, but you'd have to it locks, and you'd have to to carry it, you have to sling it like a backpack with it locked.
Okay.
You can keep the pot too. I have a dozen of them. I've been working on making them for selling. This is one of the prototypes.
Alrighty.
Other than that, they all kind of they all give you a thanks, and the mayor and the druid kind of go off. The bears retreat to the forest after the druid kind of walks up, and so the mayor and the druid are off talking now. And
Okay.
do you have anything else you'd like to do before you head back to the city?
No, that's pretty much it.
Not that Akmai would think of.
Is the druid accompanying us to the city?
No, he's staying here.
Well, I would like to ask him if I could keep one of the bears to help carry the elf.
He nods when you ask, and a grizzly bear this time walks up. He says, "This will be better suited for the distance you're traveling."
I pet the grizzly bear.
It just kind of like sits there and blinks a couple
I
times.
woke up. I walk up to the
Thanks.
druid, shake his hand. Thank you so much for all your help. I'm glad we're able to get you freed up and get you back in business.
He shakes his back. Take care of what you need to. And you are
Will do.
you are a much better man than your father, Draven Willow.
I'm gonna name him Grizzly Adams.
The druid looks at you. After you've reached the city and deposited your capture, the bear will return.
Okay, well, he's still gonna be Grizzly Adams to me.
And I look at Akmai looks at Taltex and says, before the last training, Kelki said that he would teach me something about finding a steed or something. I don't know, but if I could learn that spell, maybe we could not have to borrow animals or to carry people. Maybe
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Yes. All right. So I guess we're all done.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Draven's just going to continue on with the group, but in his mind, he's very confused and frustrated over the whole situation.
Yep.
All right. The grizzly kind of follows you all, kind of keeps pace with you. It doesn't try to get ahead of you, and it doesn't like lag back. It just kind of stays pace with whatever's kind of average for the group. And as you walk out of the woods again through the small clearing area, back along the river, heading back, that's where we're in the session.
All right.
Great session. That was amazing.
Mhm.
Yes, I had a lot of fun with that.
I'm glad everybody had fun.